Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. You can also check it out on YouTube by searching The Rob Brown Show. If you happen to have a YouTube app on your television, on your tablet, on your phone, wherever you watch YouTube, search The Rob Brown Show. You can throw us up on the TV and watch it just like a good old-fashioned television program. You can also go to twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show, twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show if you want to join us in that direction. A lot of stuff we need to get into today. But you know what? We can jump right into the lunch breakdown because what the hell do you think I want to talk about more? Before we do that, let's say, hey, DJ Drew filling in on the ones and twos today, taking over the air chair of the great one. Lonzo out on vacation this week. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good to be back.
Welcome to the gig, man. Good to have you back in the chair.
And just after the Braves have their amazing win and Diddy is not here to give the full breakdown, you've got to be a little bit disappointed. He's the baseball expert, but here I am, and I sit in the chair just as a regular fan of the Braves and the Rob Brown Show. So I get the pleasure of just watching you work today, Robert.
It's a little more boring than most people think. It's not all glitz, glamour, and good looks, all right? It's a lot of work to be as boring as I am on a daily basis. No, man, we're going to have a good day. We're going to have a good day. Can't wait to get into it. Got a lot of stuff we need to get into today on the program. Phone lines are open, 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. You can text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. If you want to come at us in that direction, you are certainly welcome to do so. Man, we are going to be absolutely blocked and loaded. So let's jump right in with that little thing we do called the lunch breakdown.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch.
It is the lunch breakdown. Appreciate you wrapping up before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. When you go to talk sports, these will be the things that you will be talking about around the lunch table today. Item number one on the lunch breakdown, Charlie freaking Morton. Last night, absolutely lights out for 3 innings as the Bravos take game one of the Fall Classic 6-2, the ATL in the driver's seat with a 1-0 lead. Gotta love that.
Did you see it coming?
Absolutely. All right. I called Astros at 6.
You doubter. You believe in the curse of Georgia, but this is the year it's broken. The Braves kick it off, and then we have the Georgia Bulldogs finishing it off. And, of course, I just mixed my metaphors there, baseball versus football. But, yes, the Braves are going to break the curse of Georgia. If they win Game 2 tonight, don't you think all those experts are going to start changing their tune finally?
You sweet summer child. Oh, the innocence of a babe. The innocence of a young man who has not yet seen the bleep that Braves fans. How old are you, Drew, by the way?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Going on 17.
Go. So you're not a ton younger
No, but I have the look and the mental state of someone. I'm late to the sports game, so I did not grow up watching sports that much. So
Drew's got that. Drew's got that good gene. You know, Drew's got that good gene. Dude looks like he's 18, going on 32. As a longtime Braves fan, Drew, as somebody who was there when things went really not great back in the 99 series, I will not believe that the curse is over until the trophy's being raised, okay? I will not believe that it is over until the trophy's being raised. Because the Georgia sports, your dogs, the Bravos, the Hawks, they have this fun thing they do, Drew, where they every year it's like okay, we broke their heart this much last year. How do we make it worse this year?
So you're saying this
how
is the
can we
first
up the
quarter of the Falcons. We have begun that climb
Yeah,
to
correct. The lead is not 28-3 yet, but it is like 10-0. All right. It's a great start. And by the way, the fact that Charlie blanking Morton struck out Jose Altuve on a broken freaking leg last night lends me to believe maybe you're right, Drew. Maybe the curse is over, but I can't allow myself to believe that until the trophy's lifted, because the moment that Georgia fans, Atlanta fans, Braves fans, Hawk fans, until the moment or when the moment passes that they go, this is it, the curse is broken. That's where the curse comes back. That's where it comes back every time.
Well, I think the curse really started making itself known after the Falcons Super Bowl. And that's when we all felt it. But I, too, have a special history with the Braves. It was exactly 30 years ago today that my dad was at the hospital and watching the game. And my mom said, you need to turn the game off. I am in labor right now. And the doctor and him were outside watching the game instead of checking in on my mom. But happy birthday to my sister. Shout out to her today, being born when the Braves were in the World Series.
Happy birthday, DJ Drew's sister, first and foremost. Second off, damn, Pops. Going in like that, huh? Yeah, honey. Can you stop screaming? The game is on. I'm really, really trying to focus on Tom Glavine's pre-pitch routine here, and you're disturbing me with that whole giving birth thing.
Right. The doctor would walk in and say, "Oh, I need to check on another patient." My dad would go, "I had to check on the score."
Yeah. That's 9 seconds. No, 9 runs. We got it, baby. Let's go. I love it. Charlie Morton yesterday took a 102-mile-per-hour return ball off his right fibula in the second inning. It broke that bone. What did he do? NBD, go out there, finish the third, strike out one of baseball's best hitters in Jose Altuve, finish the side, give AJ Minter enough time to warm up in the bullpen before having to be removed. He pitched multiple batters on a broken freaking leg, as Kurt Angle would say. He got Altuve looking with the backwards K, but you could see when he came down on his landing foot, it kind of twitched on him and he hopped on it a little bit, and that was all she wrote. But gave Minter time to get himself warmed up in the pen, sacrificed himself to get there. Charlie Morton was absolutely dealing, one of the best playoff pitchers in the game, and unfortunately, his World Series is over. He has been declared out for the remainder of the series. So the Bravos, who were hoping to have Morton available and ready to go back up on the hill for Saturday or Sunday back in the ATL, are now going to be without their premier playoff pitcher for the rest of the World Series. We know that Max Fried will be on the hill tonight down in H-Town to try to get it going. Then when they return to Atlanta, we got a travel day. We got a travel day on Thursday. We got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games in the ATL. Travel day on Monday, and then 6 and 7 will be Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Max Fried will get the rock tonight for the Bravos. Likely that Ian Anderson will get it in Game 3 in the first game back in the ATL. And then it's more than likely going to require Atlanta to have a bullpen game in Game number 4 in Atlanta before they'll be ready to throw Anderson back up on Saturday on short rest. So going to be interesting. Brian Snitker, who I have revoked, I have taken back and apologized for all my criticism of Brian Snitker all year long. All that overmanagement I talked, he's got to overmanage now, because now without knowing that Charlie Morton is in the back pocket and, an 80% opportunity at a win somewhere down the line, he's going to have to work a bullpen game because his front end rotation is now down their biggest gun. Comes at a cost, does a Game 1 win, but of the last 23 World Series, DJ Drew, the team that won Game 1 has won 20 of them so far.
That's amazing.
So, may the odds be ever in your favor.
And coming right out of the gate, making history with the very first batter, hitting a home run.
Jorge Soler!
And Texter writes, oh, by the way, Stros haven't won a World Series game at home since 2017, 5 losses in a row.
Yeah, I got to tell you, one more tonight. If Max Fried is on his game tonight, one more dub tonight in Houston. Going 2-0 in Houston and then going to Atlanta for 3. Cannot tell you how big that would be.
I mean, the fans were just stunned.
Yeah.
Just that look on their faces. They had no concept of that happening for inning after inning after inning. Braves kept scoring, and the Astros just weren't even hitting.
First, if I recall this stat correctly, and I could be misremembering it, but I believe they are the first World Series team ever to score at least 1 run in each of the first 3 innings.
Yeah.
Then they would get another one from Adam Duvall in the 5th. That would put the Bravos up 5. Later on, another big fly out to left field would score Dansby Swanson on an absolutely beautiful slide from around the outside. Was able to twist around the catcher to get that left hand down on the dish without leaving the base path too far. Phenomenal running from Dansby Swanson. He puts up the 6. The Astros would end up getting a couple later on in the game with RBIs from Carlos Correa and McCormick, who would both get one across. But it was too late for the Astros as they now find themselves in an 0-1 hole to the Hotlanta Braves. You know we're talking baseball today on the program, but got to get item 2 and 3 in here. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. When you talk about the greatest American athletes, all sports, all time, there are obviously names we are going to remember. Bruce Sless, Caitlyn Jenner. We will always remember the decathlon. We will always remember Michael Phelps in the pool. There are names that are synonymous, Simone Biles, that are synonymous with being some of the greatest American athletes on the international floor. Add to that list U.S. women's national soccer team legend Carli Lloyd, who called it a career last night. A 6-0 win for the American ladies over South Korea. Lloyd, 65 minutes into the game, was substituted out for Alex Morgan, took her boots off symbolically on the field, got the hug from Alex Morgan, from Megan Rapinoe, and others before receiving a standing ovation from the Americans in the crowd. Lloyd said, it's been emotional, but there's just a sense of peace and contentment that I feel. It's just joy and happiness. It's been an amazing journey, and I gave it all I had, and I can now walk away into the next chapter. The 39-year-old ranked 2nd in the world for most ever international appearances. She played 315 career games, scored 134 goals with the United States, 3rd most in the history of the U.S. women's team. U.S. coach Vlado Andonovsky said, quote, somebody said that Carli is the U.S. women's national team. She's brave, she's relentless, she's determined, intense, and just doesn't take no for an answer. She just pushes through and finds a way. So I think that she's a great representative of what this team is all about. A 22-game home winning streak kept intact by the Americans as they paid homage to Carli Lloyd. Walked off in the 66 minutes, hugged her teammates, took off her boots, gave the captain's band to Megan Rapinoe, peeled off her number 10 Lloyd jersey to reveal a number 10 with Hollins, talking about her husband, Brian Hollins, before exiting the field, replaced by Alex Morgan. Morgan then scored her 115th career goal 3 minutes later. Rapinoe would net one to make it 4-0 in the 85th minute. Rose Lavelle would score in the 89th. Lynn Williams in the 92nd to make it 6-0. Carli said, quote, I'm excited to see the future of this team. I'm saying goodbye on the field, but I want to continue to help in any way possible. I'm going to be the biggest fan, biggest cheerleader, and I want this team to continue to succeed. We'll have some sound from Carli Lloyd's post-game press conference later on, but when you talk about the greatest to ever do it under the red, white, and blue banner, Carli Lloyd's name had better be mentioned. And finally, Item number 3, and we're going to come back and talk about this in a minute because there's another sport that really put the NFL on blast yesterday. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell yesterday held a press conference where he doubled down on the league's decision not to make the results of its investigation into the workplace culture of the Washington football team public, saying that the anonymity of the people who cooperated with the investigation was too high a priority to allow the league to do so. Goodell said after 6 hours of NFL owners' meetings in Midtown Manhattan that, quote, "We're very conscious of making sure we're protecting those who came forward. That was a very high priority," end quote. Which is interesting for a reason that I'm going to tell you when we come back from this break. Someone involved in this situation is flat out, straight up, no holds barred, calling the commissioner a liar. Who is it and why is it important? I'll tell you when we come back. DJ Drew on the ones and twos. Your boy Rob Brown is on the mic. Taking a break. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate. To the restroom, BRB. Oh.
And struck out 2. Atlanta starter Charlie Morton went 2 1/3. He gave up 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out 3. He left the game with a broken leg and is out for the rest of the series. Game 2 is tonight in Houston. First pitch just after 8 Eastern. Lefty next 3 gets to start for Atlanta. Houston counters with right-hander Jose Urquidy. NBA tonight, the Hornets on the road visiting Magic. Charlotte 3-1, Orlando 1-3. The 2-1 Hawks visit New Orleans. 1-3 Pelicans coming off their first win of the season Monday night at Minnesota. ESPN Upstate is your home for Burns Rebels High School football play-by-play every Friday night at 7 o'clock. That's the Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate is your home for Furman Paladins football. The Furman Paladins hit the road to square off against the Chattanooga Monks this Saturday. Pre-game at noon, kickoff at 1:30. Every play, every game. ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
It's time to lose weight, and you are smart. You're not going to try a diet. You're going to go with the health there. Why are you going with the health there? Because it's a plan. Plans work, diets don't. The health there is a simple plan. They put it in front of you, you're going to look at it and go, wait a minute, that's all I have to do? And yes, all you have to do. It's simple. You can do it. You'll lose weight with the health there, 30 days, guaranteed, or your money back. And look at eating pre-packaged food that looks and tastes like cardboard. You don't need to food in your fridge, in your pantry. You can have fast food and carbs. Let's step or toe inside of the gym, and it's buy one, get one free. That means you can bring in a buddy from work, bring in a relative. You pay half, they pay half. You guys both get the program, and you have an accountability partner. You have someone to lose weight with, and you are absolutely going to lose weight out there. It's so easy to get started. Just go to iDareMe.com. Fill out some information.
Josh, what's up, buddy? Welcome in. Good to have you, pal. Welcome to the club.
When you're there, make sure you tell them that Lonzo, there's
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Hot and the hottest experience. Of dark woods, incredible set designs, special effects, and top-notch actors. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Mad World is more than just a haunted house. There are escape rooms, scary carnival games, concessions, bonfire, amazing photo opportunities, a gift shop, and our brand new 18-hole
Knocking on heaven's door. Oh, play the music out of our folder up there.
Oh,
Because the,
wrong one.
copyright is done.
Gotcha. Where's his folder? Index. Switcher control, Rob Brown, offsides. Let's see. Oh, I'd have to search for it under library.
SF6.
That's what it's under.
And then if you scroll, I think Lonzo has a label.
Oh, okay.
Enjoy the taste of football too. And tossed pies.
have RBS, a whole bunch of those.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. Got it.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. DQ
That'll work.
invites you all to join them for Miracle Treat Day on October 28th. For every blizzard sold, $1 or more will be donated to your local Children's Miracle Network hospital, making Miracle Treat Day the most satisfying way.
And we're coming back.
Visit your DQ on October 28th.
Not a great look for Roger Goodell and the National Football League. Roger, yesterday, the commish, took to the mic in New York City after 6 hours of meetings with the rest of the owners. And after he got there, and Drew, if you don't mind turning the audio on this computer up, it's going to be, yep, that one right there. He took to the podium and was asked where the results of the investigation were and if they were committed to not releasing them. And here is what Roger Goodell had to say.
And so we're very conscious of making sure that we're protecting those that came forward. They were incredibly brave, incredibly open, and we respect the pain that they probably went through all over again to come forward. And so that was a very high priority for us. The second would be, our focus, and our focus remains, is to make sure that all our clubs operate at the highest levels as far as our workforce and workplace, and making sure that we set the highest standards. We actually spent some time talking about that today. And we'll continue those discussions going forward because it's an important thing for us. That is part of what we focused on as it relates to it, and hopefully it answers your question.
So I know a little hard to hear, but long story short, Goodell said that it was of the utmost importance to keep the anonymity of those who brought the issues forward to the National Football League under the Washington football team, and that keeping their identity safe and secure was the reason that they have decided not to release the results of the investigation. Texas says, why did Goodell sound like he was standing 40 feet away from the microphone? For the record, I also had to boost. Now, I have not gotten clean audio anywhere. That was just the best I could find on the fly. I had to boost it a bunch to get it there and try to clean up some of the background noise. It was still tough, but that was the best I could do on the fly. Sorry about that. I tried my hardest. Anyway, here's the thing, Roger. Bullcrap. No, I don't believe you at all. Not for a second do I believe that, for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can redact names, right? You could put out the full results, all 650,000 plus emails, whatever the final report of the NFL was. You could put all of that out right now and just put a big, thick black mark over any names that you didn't want to have out. It happens all the time. All the time. The U.S. government puts out reports that they redact bits of information that are required to be kept top secret or confidential. It's not that hard. You take the paper, you put a big black mark over the top of the names that are supposed to be anonymous, and then you put the paper back out. So that's crap. Number two, we learned earlier this week that a letter written by 12 of and signed by as many as 40 more Washington football team employees who were part of all of this, they wrote a letter saying, we want the results out. That is roughly 50 different people involved that have said, go ahead, put out the results. We want them out. Now we learned, after Roger Goodell's fun little completely full of crap presser yesterday, now we have learned that the attorney representing roughly 40 of the folks involved in the report. She flat out yesterday called Roger Goodell a liar. Flat out called him a liar. Said Roger Goodell's, quote, Roger Goodell's statement here is false, end quote. That's calling the guy a liar, right? Let me rephrase that. And this is where language gets fun, and I'm a language dude, so bear with me. You can say that someone has made a statement that is false without calling them a liar, okay? If Drew says to me that, or if Drew says out on the air that Rob's underwear is black, I can say that statement is false. Drew is not lying because he does not know, at least that I'm aware of. He does not know, but I would say he's speaking out of ignorance, which is not. I think ignorance has gotten this this rap as like the worst. Ignorance is not bad. Ignorance is fine. Intentional ignorance is bad. Speaking about something that you refuse to learn the facts about is bad. But that doesn't mean Drew's a liar. It does mean he's speaking out of ignorance. The problem is you can't claim that for Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell, more than maybe anybody else with the exception of the NFL's attorneys involved, knows the results of this, okay? He knows the reason that the owners have decided not to put the results out. He is not speaking from a position of ignorance. Therefore, Roger Goodell's full of crap. The reason the owners don't want this out is because they play by a different set of rules than everybody else involved in the National Football League. That's not speculation. We know that for a fact. If they were to come out and say, we don't want to put out the results of this investigation because we don't want to, they know there's going to be a big backlash. But they know there's a certain percentage of the NFL fan base that is, either not invested at all or just mildly invested in this, that are going to hear Roger Goodell say, we just are trying to protect the employees, and they're going to go, oh, well, how nice of them. That's cool, and they're going to let it be. They also know that, like everything else, at the end of the day, and this is on us, that fandom is not going to decline, right? I can sit here and whine, moan, and complain about the NFL all day, but I also will acknowledge, with a pit in my stomach, Drew, that I am a hypocrite. Because do you know what I was doing Monday night at 8:30 p.m.?
Watching football.
Sitting my ass on the couch watching the Saints play. Exactly right. He knows that. They know that. They know that I and everybody else aren't going anywhere.
Right.
But the BS lie, which is what it is, the BS lie of we're trying to protect the anonymity of the employees of the league, Roger, I would at least have some respect for you if you would just look us in the face and tell us the truth. Hey, we're not putting out the investigation because we don't want to.
Nope.
We think it's better for the league if we leave it behind closed doors and at least have the stones, at least have the rocks, to be honest, instead of making up some BS feel-good story.
Nope. Stories die when you lie to the public. They don't care if you have black underwear, but they do care if you have leopard skin underwear.
And they'll lie about it.
Because that's the truth.
All right, weirdo. How'd you know? Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just blatant disrespect. And the thing is, what you gonna do about it, right? Like, what do you do about it? And I'm having the same thing right now with in a different situation, but similar analogy, I think. With the World Cup coming up in Qatar next year, right? We know that what is happening in Qatar is awful. We know that there are people that are being mistreated there to build the stadiums. We know that this World Cup was bought and paid for with corrupt money through corrupt FIFA officials. And yet, when the World Cup rolls around in winter of 2022, because they had to move it out of the summer because it's too damn hot to play in Qatar, but hey, let's have it there anyway, guys. They know good and damn well that we're going to be watching. The world will still watch that event. And it's very frustrating to me because honestly, I don't know that there's anything that can be done about it. right? I certainly can't do anything because here's the reality. I got to pay bills. And if I just quit watching the NFL and quit watching international soccer and quit watching baseball, I don't have a job anymore. Can you imagine if I came in here every day and instead of opening, hey, the Rob Brown Show, let's talk sports. I went, hey, it's the Rob Brown Show. We're not going to talk about the NFL because they're unethical. So instead, does chili go on a hot dog? Let's talk, right? Like it wouldn't work. It's a tough spot because the options are limited. But I will tell you, the quickest way to get me to start thinking about what I can do to help and get fans to start thinking about what they can do to help is to just send Roger the Robot Goodell out to the platform to go, we need to protect the identities of the employees. We will do what's right to keep them anonymous. No, dude, you're doing it because this would be a black eye on the NFL in the worst possible way. And you know it. And you know whatever is in that report, it is better for, think about this, Drew. It is better for us as fans and sports talkers. It is better for us to call Roger Goodell a filthy liar to his face than it is for them to release whatever's in this report. Because if it wasn't as bad, they'd put the report out.
Right.
This is the lesser of two evils. To bold-faced lie when we know you're lying is what it's kind of like a situation where dude cheats on wife, right? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you what's happened. I'd rather you call me a liar and a cheater than tell you what I actually did. Yeesh. Bad look. Bad look. Not ideal. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, there was another bit of news yesterday that also makes the NFL look bad. Like, real bad. Coming out of another major American sports league. We'll compare and contrast and tell you why Goodell looks even worse than he already does. Honk, honk, on the Rob Brown Show. Mike 2 needs to go and use the link. That's why they can't hear me.
Yeah, but it won't pull.
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, okay.
There you
I
go.
got you. I kept trying.
No, Josh, you were right. Good call, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Good catch.
Thank you.
Inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic. And my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Greatest invention ever. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. The unicorn of cleaning. But cleaning with a big order on Tuesday. Tina's floor manager retired, leaving her tortilla factory flat out.
Let's see.
And all those orders.
Would it be better to put these rejoins on the podcast?
No, you can leave those as they are.
Okay. Thank you much.
I mean, if you want to do more work, have at it. But no, it's not.
Gotcha.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it would be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
10 seconds.
Trophy winning hosts. Named the best sports talk show in South Carolina. The Star Award winning Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob. DJ Drew filling in for Lonzo. He's on vacation this week. Be back on Monday. Want to send a congratulations out to one of our P1s, our buddy Keegan. Buying a house today. He's a homeowner. Enjoy. What are those things that I don't have that adults do? Responsibility. Enjoy the responsibility, buddy. Congratulations to Keegan taking his first step into adulthood. Look at him. Attaboy, K-Man.
I think he's like 5 steps ahead of you, but yeah,
Dude,
that is a step.
He is Usain Bolted past me in the adulting world. I come in here and yell about football for 5 days a week. Like, he's doing fine.
You get paid for it.
It's true.
That is a step.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Which, by the way, I put up an article on ESPNUpstate.com because I get asked a handful of questions in this job more than I do anything else. And the 3 questions I get the most are, why do you yell so much? Number 2, are all the clothes you wear T-shirts or flannel? The answer to both those questions is because shut up. And number 3, what's it like to work in this job? Like, what's it like to do this gig? Because people see the 3 hours we're in here, and we do goof off, but it's a lot more than that. Like, a lot more than that. So I put up an article at ESPNUpstate.com, where I just kind of detailed kind of what the life is like on a regular day, a game day when there's a game that I'm going to, etc. Which Friday night I will be at the Swamp Rabbits game. Saturday night, I believe I will be at Clemson, Florida State up there in Death Valley. My first Clemson experience is going to be Clemson FSU on Saturday night. And then Sunday will be live for the Carolina kickoff, live at Wings, etc. in Boiling Springs. So if you're at or want to be at any of those events, come find me. I'll be the good-looking guy. Just the one, though.
You've never gone to a Clemson game?
I've not been to a Clemson game.
That surprises me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think of last year. We had the COVID season, which was kind of interesting, and they were really limiting the ability for media to get in.
That makes sense.
And we as a station were like, we really only had college football. So we're like, how are we going to make everything work? So it was a little busy, a little hectic last year. And then this year we've had so much going on between the Triumph, the Rabbits, the Drive, Furman, Wofford, etc. I've been trying to get as much as I can locally. And on top of that, like, for both Clemson and South Carolina, I thought whatever my first game is, I want it to be a rivalry game, right? Like, I want to go to a high energy game. I don't need to go see them play South Carolina State, all due respect to South Carolina State. I don't want to see Clemson or South Carolina play an FCS team for my first. I want it to be a game. And now considering the fact that, Clemson and Florida State is like I want to say the lines moved down. In fact, let me look that up. When the line opened, Drew, at like FSU plus 12.5. And I want to say it's moved down to like 8.5 now.
Yeah.
The money's coming in hot and heavy. In fact, yesterday, talked to 2 different Clemson fans. Looks like it's sitting at 9 now. So the line's come down over a field goal at this point. It's come down over a field goal. I've talked to two different Clemson fans that said they put money on FSU to win straight up, like just straight up money line, like plus 310 or something like that for a straight up win on the road. So, it may not be the Clemson team of the past handful of years, but Clemson FSU has absolutely been a rivalry game for the past decade. And if I'm going to see him come down the hill, I want to see him do it hype for a big game.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into the preview of the game for sure. But that's such a great game because aren't they honoring Bobby Bowden, Tommy Bowden?
Yep.
All that's coming back. You're going to say I was there for the first time visiting that stadium.
Classy move out of the Tigers too to do that for Bobby. I know North Carolina did it. FSU rolled out a logo after Coach Bowden passed away, and I've got that connection because my home station where I basically cut my teeth in radio was an hour and 10 minutes away, hour and 30 minutes away from Tallahassee. So I covered FSU in Florida the way that I cover Clemson here. Like
sure.
That's one of the teams. Got to meet Coach Bowden many, many times. In fact, his daughter Ginger was the mother of one of my friends growing up in high school. And so Bobby Bowden's son-in-law was a little league coach of mine. And so when I was playing with Bobby's grandson was on my team. In fact, one of his grandsons is named Bowden, was on my team. And Bobby would frequently show up at my little league game. So I've not known, like I didn't call Coach Bowden, but I've been around Coach Bowden pretty much my entire life. So when he passed away, FSU put out the logo with the old Bobby Bowden straw hat with Bobby's big loopy signature under it. And the North Carolina, before the game with FSU, put that graphic up on the wall outside the visitors' locker room to pay tribute. And now Clemson's doing some various activities Saturday to honor Coach Bowden as well. So I consider that a huge sign of respect out of Clemson. Classy move from the Tigers. And I will be in Death Valley Saturday night in order to be part of that. So looking forward to that. All right, let's get back to this NFL thing for just a couple of minutes. A couple of texts that have come in. Texter says, ESPN, I will not defend Goodell, but he is just the puppet. It is the 32 owners, or at least the most powerful group of them, that decided not to release the report. Let's hold those guys accountable too. Don't fall for the individual clubs talking about diversity and inclusion when they obviously don't give a damn. Hashtag nailed it, I believe is what the kids say. Let me make this abundantly clear. You know what Roger Goodell makes a year? Drew, let's take a stab at it. What's Roger Goodell's salary per year?
Salary per year, man. I never
Wild
thought
guess.
about that. Okay, we're gonna say 6 figures for sure. Obviously, okay,
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's start out with 300.
How does $30 to $40 million a year with bonuses sound?
So you're talking 7 figures.
I'm talking way past
8
7.
figures.
I'm talking $30 to $40 million a
I
year.
was just trying to be
Now,
modest here. Goodness.
I'll tell you this. I get it. Okay. I get it. I worked in local government for a number of years and made the best money I've ever made in my life for a job that multiple times a week I went doing things I personally don't want to do. But I'm making real good money. My bills are paid and I got travel money, son. I get it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to call Roger Goodell out for being a liar, because he is. But hey, $35 million, I'd sell some stuff too.
And I should have guessed at least what a coach is making. I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, it's tons of money.
But what does he do?
Except lie. That's the job, though, right? Because Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder and all these, Cal McNair now, all these owners who, some of them are reprehensible people, Dan Snyder. Some of them run garbage programs because they're all about getting as much money as they can out of the franchise, but not putting anything into it, Cal McNair. Some of them put sales above everything, Jerry Jones. I've told that story before. They utilize Roger Goodell. The word puppet is perfect. They utilize Roger Goodell to cover up their own crap so that they don't have to be the ones answering the questions in the press conference. Because if we put Dan Snyder on a podium today, dude's getting eviscerated. Rightfully so. If we put Cal McNair on a podium in Houston, dude's getting eviscerated. Rightly so. If we put Jerry Jones or Gail Benson or any of the owners on a podium in front of the media, they're absolutely getting hammered. So instead, they set up this cushy little system where they come out to announce their charitable contributions. Oh, we're putting $10 million into local neighborhoods and communities. Okay, thanks for coming by. But then they go behind the scenes and they do crap like this, right? They do crap like what's happened in protecting Dan Snyder and his right to own a team. Roger Goodell is the guy they send up to take the heat. And again, for $35 million, you say whatever the hell you want to say about me, Jack. Yep. I'd do that job for 2 years, take my 70 mil and live in retirement, and y'all never hear from me again, right? So I know I'm being, in certain aspects of this, hypocritical. Now, here's what I will tell you. $35 million, I'm not covering up sexual assault. It ain't worth it to me, okay? Now, $35 million because a couple of guys in the league did some things that aren't so great. Like owners are like Cal McNair are profiting wildly off of tanking their football team. I could probably justify $35 million to lie about that. I don't think I could take $35 million to cover up a sexual assault, which is effectively what's happening here, right? Second part of this that really drives me nuts is that Roger Goodell said, a reporter said, do you feel like Dan Snyder has been held accountable for his crimes based on what you found in the report? And Roger Goodell said, yeah, he's not been part of his team for 4 months. Do you know how much money Dan Snyder loses from being suspended from the NFL? $0. He's the owner of the team. He gets the profit. I got to tell you, Drew, the only job I like more than a job that I have to work hard to make good money is a job where I sit my ass on the couch and make the same amount of money. Yep. Hashtag facts. I like this job. This job I'm doing right now, because If I was getting paid the same amount of money to sit at home, do you know what I'd be doing?
Sitting at home.
Literally this. Literally, you know what the difference is between my life if I was getting paid to not do this job versus do this job? The difference is location.
Oh, I see.
I'd be on my couch talking sports on the internet.
You used to do it from your
Yeah.
couch. Okay.
I'd be on my couch talking sports on the internet instead of having to drive 11 minutes to a radio station. That's the difference. Okay, that's it. Which is why I've said after Ed Orgeron's getting $17 million to not coach LSU, my new life retirement plan is get really good at coach football, then get really bad at coaching football. Because buyout money, yes, please. There's no punishment here. When Sean Payton got suspended for a year, head coach of the Saints, got suspended for a year, had to sit out for a season. He didn't get paid, right? He was not getting paid by the Saints because he was suspended without pay. That cost him $10 to $12 million. You know what it's costing Dan Snyder to sit at home and not be a part of the Washington football team? Not a damn thing. Nothing at all. It's not a punishment. Hell, if anything, it's a damn reward. Yeah, I'm going to let the guys that I hired to run the program. I'm going to go home and collect my checks from the NFL. Are you kidding me? Get out of here with that garbage, man. This whole thing is embarrassing. This whole thing's embarrassing. Top to bottom, front to back, right to left. This whole thing is embarrassing. And again, I don't know what you do about it. Texas says ESPN, they were okay leaking Gruden's emails. Yeah. You know why? Because it took out one dude and they got to go, we did something. Are we good now? That you understand that's why, right? Because they were able to take out one guy that, by the way, Roger Goodell didn't like anyway. He hates John Gruden. So he went, sniped out Gruden, then gets to turn to the mic and go, see, the NFL cares. We did a thing. You'll notice who has not gotten in trouble? Dan Snyder, the guy in charge of it all.
One scapegoat. That's all he wanted.
Bingo. Quick break. Back after this. I'm Rob. He's Drew. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Thursday, chance for showers late, a high of 59. Friday, chance for rain, high of 60, highs in the 60s for the weekend. Meteorologist Jennifer Luchitsky on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 64.
Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time with the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen and when the games go viral. The ESPN Upstate score stream. Get all the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com.
Finding good candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The greatest of all time, the GOAT. Most of the time this comes up when speaking about sports, but let's talk about your future wife. She is the GOAT in your eyes, and when it's time to make her your wife, and Skatel her, you truly love her, Skatels will be there to guide you through your ring buying journey. Free customization, financing, and a lifetime warranty are all part of the Skatels experience. When you truly will appreciate it, start your engagement journey at SkatelsJewelers.com.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Venture through the haunted house and trail full of elaborate sets, special effects, and top-notch actors. Play our creepy carnival games and escape rooms, or check out our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Buy your tickets now at MadWorldAttractions.com. That's MadWorldAttractions.com. ESPN Upstate is your home for Furman Paladins football. Furman Paladins hit the road to square off against the Chattanooga Monks this Saturday.
Furman needs a dub this week.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking
Last week hurt. You're exactly right.
But to be fair, it allowed me to get out of here immediately. He's like, no highlights, no post-game interviews. I was like, yes.
Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up, there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas.
10 seconds.
And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continue to use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gas. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Text us anytime at 71307. Use keyword ESPN followed by your comment. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, let's rock and roll. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Jerry Jones was just cornered by the media a couple of minutes ago. And Jerry Jones said that he is, quote, very satisfied, end quote, with the results of the WFT investigation. Well, Jerry, that makes one of us. You see what I'm saying? They sent out Goodell because the owners are happy. But they know the fans aren't, by and large. There are some people who genuinely don't care, which is sad, but all right, live your life. They know the fans aren't happy. The owners are happy. JJ made a rare mistake here. Rare slip up for a shrewd businessman by saying that he was happy. What he should have said was something along the lines of, I'm keeping my eyes turned towards him. I'm interested in seeing what else comes up. You heard what the commish said earlier today, et cetera, et cetera. And what he did say was he was very satisfied. Well, put out the results. Let's see. I have always said the whole premise of, well, you don't need to hide anything if you've got nothing to hide. I think it's a dangerous philosophy to live by, because you're effectively saying, hey, you should give up some of your privacy. You should give up some of your personal life for me if I so deem that you are worth investigating, which is not a great way to handle any situation. I disagree with it here. I'm not asking for every leaked document about every situation ever. I'm asking very simply, show us the results of this investigation and stop lying about it. We now know that there are between 40 and 60 people that brought complaints that spurred this investigation, that have said or signed a petition that said, just put the results out. We're the ones in it. We're the ones that caused it. We're the ones that started it. Put the investigation out. Let us know. Let us see it, right? The lawyer for the women, some of the women, 40 of the women involved in this, came out yesterday after Goodell's comments and said, yeah, no, that's crap. That's a lie. This woman, this attorney came out and Maury Povich, Roger Goodell. Lie detector test determined that was a lie. Absolutely not okay. And it's spot on. But again, it's a tough spot because my question becomes, what do we do? What do we do? Tell you right now. The first group that can get something done about it is NFL fans. Problem is, what are we going to do? Right? I can go to Washington football team fans and go, hey, please stop buying merch. Please stop buying gear. Please stop buying tickets. Please stop going to games. Please stop watching games. But if you're a fan of the Washington football team And as we've said a million times on the show, and we'll say a million more, sports are your escape from real life. They're going, wait a minute. So I have to give up my escape from real life because Dan Snyder is a dip? It's a big ask, right? So I don't know. I've thought about it over and over and over, and I don't know what can be done to change this, if anything, to be honest with you. All right. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. We'll get away from this when we come back. Carolina Panthers yesterday were reported to be in trade talks for Deshaun Watson. Today, we've got new news on that. We'll tell you what that news is when we come back, and what does the future hold for DW4? We'll address that next. I'm Rob. He's Drew. This is the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate.
Questions about Sports Flash.
So you'll drop the ID at 50.
Right.
When the ID's done, you'll bring that pot back up.
Okay.
Not yet.
Well, it's not on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So ID, as soon as the ID is done, you'll bring that pot up. When the ID drops, go live on that.
Sometimes there isn't a Sports Flash.
There should.
This
is the actual ESPN feed, so it should be there.
Okay.
Great Scott!
I got a bad feeling about this.
That happens more often than not.
And just go, why?
So stupid.
Huh.
It drives me nuts. But we have to do that every Saturday Scramble show. All right, that's saving. Pull up your other one. Hour 2 is recording. We'll do one offsides promo and then have your open. Yeah, that's fine.
You heard Offsides with Mark Ryan?
We go to the phones with a caller called the Hopester, who wants to tell us how wrong we are about
Brother.
Hopester, please don't make this long, man. We're losing listeners by the seconds as we waste time on this.
Well, you know, brother. You my little Hulkamaniacs, brother. We're going to come out that station, brother, and we're going to show you that wrestling is not fake, brother. It's a real sport, brother. What you going to do, brother? Let my Lord Charles the world come down on you, brother.
That's enough. You cut him? Thanks for the call. You ran him? Yeah. Oh. We are all now collectively dumber for having listened. Hey, Holster, I was going to let you go at least another 2.3 seconds, but the Diesel decided.
All right. Open starts now.
Warning.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown!
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Welcome back. Great to have you. I am Rob Brown. DJ Drew on the 1s and 2s, and your Atlanta Braves hold a 1-0 lead over the Houston Astros. They go down to H-Town last night, get it done, 6-2 winners. Charlie Morton would get through 6 outs, 3 innings before, 9 outs, 3 innings before having to leave the game. He went 2.1 before having to turn over the ball. Gave up just 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts before AJ Minter would come in, finish off the third, and then give up 3 hits. Luke Jackson, Tyler Matzik, and Will Smith would combine to finish out this game. 11 strikeouts, no home run surrendered, just 3 walks and 8 hits, only 2 runs surrendered by the Braves pitching staff. The Astros started off with Fremler Valdez, who went 2 innings, gave up 8 hits through 2 innings before getting yanked. 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and a pair of dingas early in the game. They would have to go through 5 more pitchers to get done with the game with the Astros. Ended up surrendering 12 hits on the night, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts, and 2 home runs to bring a 6-2 victory to Atlanta. They now head tonight into game number 2. It's going to be an interesting. Max Fried is going to be on the hill for the Atlanta Braves tonight. We have gotten that already. Ian Anderson will likely be the game 3 starter after a travel day to get back to Atlanta. Charlie Morton out for the series now. Took a return liner off of his fibula. It fractured his fibula. He will not be able to return for the Atlanta Braves in this series, which is heartbreaking because not only was dude a stud last night, only threw 3 pitches, but he threw 16 of them. Here's my favorite part of this story, Drew. He threw 16 pitches on a broken freaking leg. And then in the post-game presser, when my dude got in front of the mic for the first time, he apologized. He's like, I'm sorry I had to leave early. That's not the way I wanted to do. That's on me. That's my bad. I got to tell you, Charlie, Big Blanks Charlie, 16 pitches on a broken leg, striking out Jose Altuve, giving AJ Minter time to get warmed up before he comes on. I'd go ahead and say that my dude has 0 to apologize for.
Yeah, he felt bad. He said he had planned to obviously play longer, and he's so sorry it happened. I don't think he was apologizing, my bad, that I got hurt, because everyone knows that was such a freak accident. But no, he genuinely felt bad that in this World Series he couldn't tough it out. It's just a fractured fibula. Why couldn't I stay in the game? Dude, how much adrenaline does it take? Now, to be fair, I was listening to Greeny before we came on, and he was saying that injury, because they did the x-ray and it did not show any breaks, did it maybe happen on the second or third pitch after, or maybe a couple pitches into it, because you could see the obvious pain on that last pitch where something else may have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it had happened on the return line drive. Then he threw 16 pitches on it before that last whatever it was, that last one, that last pitch that got Altuve out. You could see him when he followed through and he put his weight onto that left leg. You could kind of see it give out a little bit, and he had to catch himself, and then immediately was like, I can't do it. But he gutted out over a dozen pitches. Listen, I've never broken my leg, but I've broken other bones. No, it doesn't feel good. The fact that he went 16 more is insanity. Insanity, man. But Drew, that's kind of what this team is, right? Like, that's kind of what this team is, a team that is gutting it out. They've gutted out everything they've done so far.
There is so much to say about this team's heart, the way they've come together, how they've come together. That is so different from any other Braves team that I've seen growing up, that I just think there is something really special. I do believe in this team. Did not necessarily believe in them going into the Dodgers, but I do believe them in them now. I think they proved us all wrong. That was such a huge series. And I don't know how you feel about tonight with tonight's pitcher. And the Braves have now a sense of urgency to get this done because they no longer have Morton on the squad. So going to 7 games does not benefit them. A win tonight would just be huge.
Taking 2 and effectively swiping home field away from the Astros would be enormous, right? If you can get 2, you go 2-0 and then go back to Atlanta. I believe the Braves can win 2 of 3 in Atlanta. They could take 2 of 3.
Yeah.
Even with a bullpen game in the middle, right? Would have loved to have Charlie Morton back, especially considering how dominant he was. Would have loved to have gotten Charlie Morton back. Charlie Morton's going to the hill with like a 85% chance of winning the game for you. He's just that good in the playoffs. Would have loved to have had Big Game Charlie back, but Max Fried, with the exception of I think one game in the playoffs, has been good.
Yeah,
Good.
Game 5 of the Dodgers was just painful.
Yeah, and I think the same is true with Ian Anderson, right? Like Ian got was a game 3 when Ian Anderson on the road at LA kind of had a hiccup. He got pulled. And listen, I think that, Ian Anderson's a guy that goes, he turns on the longer he pitches, right? Like, in fact, Brian Snitker before that game said, if we can get Ian to the 3rd or 4th inning, that's where he really gets hot. He had to yank him in the 3rd because he just didn't have it. But part of the reason they yanked him, I think, was because they thought there's a very good chance that game's going to 6 or 7, and they wanted him fully rested for one last appearance. Between Fried tonight and Anderson in Game 3, you'd like to think the Braves have another win in them. Tonight's the big one. You win tonight in Houston, and you just sweep them in the opening leg at H-Town. You go back to Atlanta needing 2 wins out of 3 games. It's a pretty good deal because the Braves have been really good at home in this postseason.
Yep.
That's where the money's been made. So, and look, I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready to say that I'm going to make my pick on them later in the show. I don't know.
But you got to admit, their bats are on fire. I mean, 12 hits last night. It's just nothing to sneeze at. We expected the Astros to do that, and the Astros had 8 hits. Looks good, coming off of 2 runs, but that was just so late in the game. I never really thought they were making a comeback at that point. And Albies just played his heart out. That tag at the right at the end was just awesome. Just such good defense all the way around.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They are going to run the Houston Astros. Urquidy is going to be out there on the hill for the Stros, who has also been good. He's been good. He's going to need to do better than what Valdez last night. Valdez was getting rocked in the first 2 innings. But that's it for the Braves. I mean, the Braves are a team that if they start hot, they're good, and if they don't, they're not. I mean, it's that Soler home run. By the way, the first in 117 World Series, the first home run from a leadoff batter in the opening plate appearance of a World Series. Nobody has ever hit a home run in the first at bat of the World Series. Some guys have done it in the leadoff in the bottom of the inning, but never in the history of 117 years has the first pitcher or first batter in a World Series game in Game 1 gone yard. So you got Jose Urquidy on the hill tonight for the Astros. He is 0 for 1 in his postseason career, in this postseason. He is 1-2 all-time postseason with a 4.28 ERA, has thrown 27 innings, is averaging less than a strikeout an inning with 25 so far, but was okay on the season. 8-3 in the regular season, 3.62 ERA in the regular season, appeared in 20 games and got saves in all of them, pitched 107 innings, 90 strikeouts on the year, and a whip of under 1 on the regular season. So he was better in the regular season than he's been in the playoffs. But look, you got to get hot early. I don't think you can undervalue, Drew, how big that Soler home run was to open the game, because this team plays on emotion. Yeah. Like, this team lives on emotion and momentum, and they feed off of each other in terms of emotion and momentum, which is hard to do in baseball, right? Like in football, basketball, it's a little easier to do. In basketball, when a team gets hot and they go on a run and they start to feel themselves because it's so fluid, and it's not in baseball, it's hard to feed off emotion, but this team is one of the best I've ever seen it doing that.
Right.
And when Soler slapped that rock out into deep left, that bench came alive and the confidence was there.
And all you could hear was the bench.
Yeah.
The crowd just goes silent and stunned. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was phenomenal to watch. They got to do that again, right? Jump out to a hot start. And that's the other aspect is I don't think the Astros are a team that are incredibly used to. They're between their World Series in 17. They're not a team who is used to getting punched in the mouth and playing behind from the get, right? Like, they're a team that if it's scoreless in the second and third inning, they know the hits are coming. They're going to get some runs up. But they're used to playing on even footing. And the fact that they were absolutely slapped in the very first at bat, I don't think they were, it's like a boxer taking an overhand right in the very opening frame. Some guys, it just throws them off, and I think that's what happened.
And that's why this game tonight could be so enormous. If the Astros come out and win big, it's a brand new clean slate going to Atlanta, because all of a sudden you've got to think that momentum now favors the Astros again.
By the way, speaking of World Series game number 2, do I have great news for you, baseball fans? If you were out and about driving around, you can't watch the game live on television tonight, don't you worry, because ESPN Upstate's got you covered. We will have game number 2 action for you live this evening right here on ESPN Upstate. You will be able to listen to that game tonight right here on the Big Stick. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. As soon as Mark Ryan and Offsides go off the air, we will flip you down to Houston. We'll do an hour of pregame. Then, of course, you'll hear every pitch of game number 2 of the World Series tonight right here on ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. World Series game number 2 live right here on the Big Stick. Texter says Braves in 5 and they win in H-Town tonight. Which Max Fried am I getting, right? Am I getting Max Fried from the divisional series? From the Brewers series where he was lights out? Am I getting him from the later portion of the championship series against the Dodgers? Or am I getting the one that had to be taken out in the third inning? Which Max Fried am I getting? If you get good Max Fried tonight, very good chance the Braves win. If he comes up and he gives out 4, 5, 6 hits in the first 2 innings, again, the Braves team lives and dies by emotion. And if the Astros jump out to a lead early, you may have happened to the Braves what happened to the Astros last night, which is quick punch in the mouth, kind of deflates the bench and it goes away. But this team is, they're resilient if nothing else, Drew, and I respect them for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to think, okay, Astros could score 6 runs and the Braves still win, depending on when those runs happen. If the Astros come out way ahead right away, I do not see the Braves coming back. Not saying they couldn't be a comeback team. I think the Astros at home really see the significance of the win tonight and would make sure that they close that out. If the Braves jump out ahead and then the Astros have to start coming back, anybody's game. 6 runs, I say the Astros do score, because I think the over-under tonight was same as last night. It was 14.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a moment from right now. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. When we come back, Carolina, in or out on Deshaun Watson. New reports today say that something may have changed. Tell you what it is when we come back. Rob, Drew, you. It's ESPN Upstate. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da.
Monday night at Minnesota. Game 1 of the World Series went to Atlanta 6-2, the final over Houston at Minute Maid Park on Tuesday. Atlanta took a 2-0 lead out of the first, added a run in the second, and 2 more in the third. Houston starter Framber Valdez was chased after 2 innings. He gave up 5 runs on 8 hits and struck out 2. Early morning went 2 1/3. He gave up 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out 3. He left the game with a broken leg and is out for the rest of the series. Game 2 is tonight in Houston. First pitch just after 8 Eastern. Lefty Max Fried gets the start for Atlanta. Houston counters with right-hander Jose Urquidy.
He's supposed to call now, right?
Oh, that's right, Aaron. Yeah. Forgot about that. Damn.
Have you heard Offsides with Mark Ryan?
Coming up on a hump day episode of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel. Game 1 of the World Series is in the books, so is it 1-up for America's sweethearts or 1-up for America's villains? We will honor our high school athletes of the week, plus all of the week's best events, and so much more. All in a hump day episode of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel.
The Upstate is talking about Offsides with Mark Ryan. Now 3 to 7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate.
Let me tell you how to save some money. related to being overweight, you can be able to get rid of all. Save money with the healthcare, buy one, get one. So you only get 30 days guaranteed or your money back. You don't have to wait for you. You have to do is go to OptumRemedy.com. Information on one of the healthcare companies. For me, stop counting. You there? It's your time. That lawn's upstairs.
Tired of living with awful joint pain? Look, you've been on therapy, right? When those Band-Aids don't work, you know what's next. Surgery. Major surgery. John Boy Billy here saying, don't do it. Not a QC. All about these natural biological curative regenerative alternatives. They can for damaged tissue in your knees, shoulders, back, and hip, and other joints as well. Uses natural biologics from your own body and concentrates them in the precise damaged area for lasting relief.
And it's an in-office treatment. No downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. If you don't have to, call QC Kinetics. Get a second opinion right now. You got nothing to lose.
Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772.
All right, he said she'll be calling any second.
864-448-3772.
And now the sounds of football from Metal Mushroom Pizza Ladies. Enjoy the taste of football too. Hand-tossed pies, donuts, wings, meatballs, hot pretzels, and over 100 beers.
On the way and bringing friends and family with them. This is Don with American Made Windows, and now is the time to update and upgrade your home with our beautiful energy-efficient windows before the guests arrive. Nothing improves the look of your home like new windows, and ours are energy-efficient, affordable, and we do expert work quickly and cleanly. Visit amwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American Made.
ESPN Upstate. Who's this?
Join me at Ingles Markets this and every Thursday from 3 to 6.
Very good. I'll let Rob know you're on.
This Thursday will be at 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway.
Aaron?
Yep.
Good deal.
How's Justin Fields doing?
They got smoked this past weekend.
Like, do you agree that the Panthers should have drafted him? Woulda, coulda,
I
shoulda?
was fine with Sam Darnold. I'm still not saying what's happening to the Panthers is Sam Darnold's fault is ridiculous. That offensive line is paper.
I kind of thought that too, and some people I think are playing the what if card, but it's not like a rookie. Fields would have been the answer.
She says, I love that feature because I have a much higher follow-through rate if I invite him. Try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/Bart. That's ZipRecruiter.com/BART.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville.
College football utopia. The lakes are stocked with ice. Rustle with the sweet smell of football glory. It's a land flowing with onion dip. Even the food pyramid is shaped like a hot dog. For every yard gained, the yard was celebrated in every non-excessive.
Coming back.
He's not messing around. Real, unfiltered sports talk on the Rob Brown Show. ESPN Upstate.
Every Wednesday at 1:20, we take it on down to Legacy Early College and talk a little Greenville Triumph football with the fellas that are the reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champions. Today, we are joined by a midfielder from the Triumph. You've heard him on the show before. He makes his triumphant return with us today. Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, joins us here on the show. Hey, Dub, what's up, bud? Welcome back, man. Good to have you.
problem. What's going on? Always a pleasure to be on with you. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, man. Of course. Our pleasure. Aaron, man, let's start off with it. Middle point of this season, Triumph floating around 6th, 7th place for a little while, but the push has been big. And while, a dub last week over Chattanooga would have been a big boost, you guys on the road this week, NCFC up in Cary, North Carolina, with a potential jump from 3-2 in a first-round bye on the line. Man, what's the attitude around the team, knowing how big this match might end up being?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, coming off a result, like you mentioned, a draw, it's not horrible, but not what we were wanting. And I think we know we have to approach this game not super differently, but we know we need to go and get a result and threaten the goal a little bit more. We were solid against Chattanooga, but we didn't create enough chances and didn't take the chances that we created. And I think in training, that's going to be a big focus for us this week and has been. And how can we create more and really, get the goals that we need to put us in a position to potentially lock up a bye in second place. So that's kind of the approach this week. We just got to start threatening the goal a little bit more and take our chances when we get them.
Talking to Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph. Talk to me a little bit about that. Is when a win Saturday night against NCFC and a Ford Madison win over Chattanooga would move you guys up into second and give you opportunity when you know that there's the chance to be moved down if things go squirrely. But in order to get that, you guys must go play for a win. Does it change the tactics? Does it change? Do you get more aggressive? Do you change anything up knowing that the only way to move up on the table would be a win this week?
Not so much, I don't think. Obviously, I think we go into every game playing for a win. Now, obviously, depending on how the game goes, things can change, score lines and whatever, cards, what have you. But we're going in looking for a win. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, even a Madison draw could potentially give us a tie break over Chattanooga to move into second place. So the main focus, again, just focus on our business. Other things, what will be, but we go there, we need a convicting 3 points, and that can, kind of jump us into the playoffs. Whether we're walking up to second place or, third or fourth or whatever, we need a convicting win so we can kind of have a little bit of a boost and continue on this streak. So
Aaron Walker, midfielder of the Greenville Triumph, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Now, you guys have already squared off against NCFC this year. What's the approach for this club? We know this club is a very quick ball club. They are very fast on and off the ball. And a young club, too. They got a bunch of guys that are brand new out of high school, just getting their careers going, et cetera. When you take on a team that's maybe a little less physical and a little more finesse as a midfielder, knowing you've got to control the middle part of the pitch against a team that loves to just try to run and get the ball behind you guys, what's the mentality and how important is communication around the midfield to make sure that they don't get any free runs on goal?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, it's super important. They're quick. They have a lot of young boys who it can be a double-edged sword with inexperience. They're almost sometimes so naive that it really works out in their favor, but also it can hurt them. So in the midfield specifically, we got to be on our P's and Q's because, like you said, they're crafty, they're quick. They make a living off the counter, and we have to really lock it down in there. And I think if we do that, it will really set us up for a good chance to win the game. But we know there's no easy games in this. It doesn't matter where this team is in the table. They're dangerous. They're young. And like I mentioned, sometimes being young can be an advantage because you haven't been opened up to a lot of failures in the game. And they're kind of fearless if you kind of pick up what I'm putting down there. It can go one of two ways, and we need to make sure it goes our way.
Love it. Love it. We're talking to Aaron Walker. He is a midfielder for your Greenville Triumph. Aaron, I wanted to take just a second and ask you about your Real Men Wear Pink campaign. We've heard a bunch about it the last couple of weeks. Noah Pilato actually donated his game cleats. By the way, great to see Noah back on the pitch this weekend. I know he's going to be working to get back in shape to make a contribution to this team, but donated his cleats to a raffle giveaway that, Aaron, I don't want to brag, but they're going to be hanging on the stream on ESPNUpstate.com moving forward because your boy won them. They're going right there on the wall, Aaron, to rep the Real Men Wear Pink campaign year round. Talk to me a little bit about how you came into setting this thing up, a little bit of how it developed and what it means to you to have this campaign that so many of your guys on the squad have bought into as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. First of all, thank you for doing that and the donations and stuff. It kind of started when I got here my first year. I had reached out to the American Cancer Society and a lady named Mary Gwynn that works here in Greenville for the Making Strides Greenville, I guess, account. And kind of a little bit of a relationship formed with that. I told her I wanted to try to help get involved and give back a little bit. I had some extended family members that have obviously been affected, and many of my teammates over the years, from youth days to even now, have had mothers that have been affected or grandmothers or a lot of people. And I think that was just something that kind of rang true to me. I just kind of want to do what I could to raise a little bit of awareness. And it's been cool seeing a lot of the guys buy in and try to spread the word as much as they can as well too. It's something that a light needs to continue to be shed on, and more research can hopefully change things down the line, and just trying to do what I can with that. But yeah, it's been really cool. And speaking to Noah, kind of changing gears here, obviously it's been cool to see him back on the pitch. It's been a tough year for him. He's such a good player, and he's had such a good attitude about it. Being out for so long is very difficult mentally, and he's handled it well. And I'm just excited to see him back, and it's been really cool to see him latch onto this breast cancer awareness and kind of run with it as well. So all good things.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Aaron's Real Men Wear Pink campaign. You can check him out, by the way, on Twitter and get some details and information there at _Aaron Walker. Aaron, if people are interested in getting involved, pitching in, helping out, offering donations or help or whatever, where can they learn a little bit more about your campaign?
I actually have the link posted on my Instagram at _AWalker8. But there's a link there, and I believe on Twitter as well. And then Greenville Triumph has put out the link to my specific page for donations and things like that. So a really cool thing that we're doing in collaboration with American Cancer Society and the Greenville Triumph, and just want to continue to raise awareness. So please spread the word.
Love it. Aaron Walker, midfielder for the Greenville Triumph, running the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. Again, his Instagram page is where you can find a link to donate. All right, Aaron, we're getting set up for, obviously, that roadie we talked about. One of the things you mentioned, Noah getting back out there, and really cool to see him get back on the pitch. I've had some conversation with him away from the radio where he's talked to me about getting back involved. But I think one of the things that so many of us that are, those of us that cover the team and those of us that are fans love is the attitude of this team never seemed to waver, right? There was a slow part in the middle of the season where W's were hard to come by, a few more L's than we're traditionally used to over the past years. But the attitude of this team never wavered. There was never a point that you really sensed over frustration. So many injuries that have had to be dealt with throughout the course of the season, and yet every time we talked to one of those guys, it was always optimism, etc. How important has that been to this team to be able to keep that head up and keep facing the adversity head on, whereas a lot of less quality teams may have kind of wrapped it up midseason and said, let's just start getting ready for next year?
Yeah, it's been interesting with all the injuries, like you mentioned. I think that was something that kind of made the outlook there for a little bit, a little bleak. But I just, obviously a lot of us knew there's too much quality on this team and too much character within this group to roll over. And that was never going to happen, but it was obviously tough. Results weren't going our way. And as we started to get guys back every week from injury, things started to change, results started to fall in place. And then, results can obviously change the confidence completely 100% within a group. And I think we started playing up to our ability. That combined with the guys that were getting back just really kind of took that confidence and raised it. And, we haven't really looked back since. I think the results have spoken for themselves. So it's been huge getting guys back in that tough period, sticking together and really meshing as a team was huge for us. And now we're right where we want to be going into an important spot of the year, which was always the goal. These are long seasons. It's all about hitting stride at the right time, getting into the playoffs and hitting stride at the right time. So with the American system, that's kind of how it's set up. And I think we're doing just that. So we're excited about where we are. We go on the road this weekend, hopefully get an important 3 points, a convicting 3 points, like I said, and then we launch ourselves into the playoffs full steam ahead.
Aaron Walker plays the midfield for your Greenville Triumph. They are on the road this Saturday up in Cary, North Carolina, taking on North Carolina FC. Playoff spot already clinched for the Triumph. Now we wait to see where we end up getting seated. You can also check out his Instagram at _AWalker8. He's got his link for his Real Men Wear Pink breast cancer awareness campaign there. You can make a donation at that link. Aaron, my dude, always good to talk to you, buddy. Good luck on Saturday night. We'll be pulling for you as we always do, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure.
Always mine. Always mine. That's Aaron Walker, midfielder, number 8 for your reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champions, the Greenville Triumph, on the road at North Carolina FC this Saturday night. That game available on ESPN Plus. You can watch all the USL League One action there, including your Greenville Triumph on Saturday night. Quick break. Back after this, we'll talk about Deshaun and the Panthers when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in ESPN Upstate. How you feeling, dude? You in the zone?
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Come back better. Envoy. Make hybrid work. Envoy.com.
You're sure you need to get hit with a big unexpected blow. Like what if the car breaks down right now? How are you paying the bill? If it's your transmission, that's over $3,000. Your engine up to $6,000. Even minor repairs like your air conditioning can hit your wallet hard. Here's the good news: if you have a car, truck, or SUV that's $19.99 or newer, you can stop paying for repairs right now. That's right. With Protect My Car, when your car breaks down, we pay your repair bill for you. Just dial 800-279-2827 on your mobile phone now to get started. Protect My Car pays for repairs to your engine, transmission, air conditioning, suspension, and so much more. Dial 800-279-2827 and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Dial 800-279-2827 on your mobile phone right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, free car rental, and free oil changes. Dial 800-279-2827 and never pay for car repairs again. Dial 800-279-2827.
According to research, 82% of people will remember radio ads. So, 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will know that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free.
Yes, free. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/free.
You take 2 vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit. Learn more at CDC.gov. For fantasy players. Season, we will give you a 20% bonus on your first deposit, up to $500. And bonus, and all you need to do to claim it is make your first deposit. If you've never tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to jump in. You'll love playing fantasy football on FanDuel. Not only is it easy to start, but you can set new lineups every game day, keeping the action fresh all season long. There are many types of game formats to choose from, and you can even play private contests with your friends. There's an awesome slate of games on hand this week and every week. So what are you waiting for? Get in on all the excitement and experience season-long wins without the season-long waits. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/play to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com/play. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires after 30 days.
Dispensing real, unfiltered sports talk every weekday noon to 3. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. Earlier in the week, we got told that because of the struggles of Sam Darnold, which, quick aside, we'll come back to in a minute. If you believe that Sam Darnold's struggles are entirely because of Sam Darnold and only Sam Darnold, you ain't been watching the games, I think. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Because of the struggles of Sam Darnold, it was reported earlier in the week that the Carolina Panthers were reigniting their interest in making a potential trade for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun, of course, has been benched by the Texans. He is eligible to play, by the way. He is eligible to play. He could be suited up for the Texans right now. So, the reports coming out earlier in the week were that he was, the Carolina Panthers, were reigniting trade talks to bring Deshaun Watson to Charlotte. Well, this morning, Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network reported that the Panthers were out. They are not interested in bringing Sam Darnold back into the mix. Bringing Deshaun Watson back into the mix, that they are out of trade talks with the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson. And honestly, good. All right. Good for a handful of reasons. Number one, and from a football perspective, purely a football perspective, on the field stuff only, I said this earlier in the week, if there's more than one team, which right now we know the Dolphins are still in on trade talks, pause. If there's more than one team involved, the asking price for Deshaun Watson is going to be through the roof. All right. You're looking at probably 4 first-round draft picks plus a couple of other late-round, mid- and late-round picks scattered around over the next 4 or 5 years. But you're looking at not having a first-round draft pick, at least not your natural first-round draft pick, for the next handful of years. The asking price, what you could fill with those spots, is not worth just playing it out with Darnold and drafting a quarterback with a first rounder and then building an offensive line around him the next couple of years with first rounders moving forward. Deshaun can do a lot as a football player. And we're talking only on the field stuff now. We know that. Guy's an MVP candidate every year. However, the offensive line that he would be playing behind is not good. Like at all. You put Brady back there, he would struggle. You put Kyler Murray back there, he would struggle. Put anybody back there, they would struggle. It's just that bad right now. And without Christian McCaffrey, as you will be for at least one more week, maybe longer, we'll see. The one good thing about quarterback in Carolina, and that you have arguably the best escape valve in the NFL unavailable. And by the way, as I mentioned preseason, injury bug is real. McCaffrey's going to get dinged up again in the future. You don't even have that to work off of right now. All right? Not a great idea. Second thing, and this is where I've taken a lot of heat from both sides. It is the Houston Texans' decision not to play Deshaun Watson. I'm relatively convinced that they're not playing him because of the 22 lawsuits against him for sexual harassment / assault. I'm relatively sure they're not playing him because he wants out so bad, right? And if he goes out there and pops his ACL, the 4 draft picks, first rounders they are going to get for him, if somebody takes them, become way less valuable. They are protecting the health of Deshaun Watson, and they're doing it, I think, under the guise of, well, we got to let this investigation play out before we can play him, et cetera, et cetera. I think they're trying to protect the guy, but there is no way to know for sure. If Deshaun Watson has a 1 or 2 or 3 year game month suspension coming down the pipe. Okay. The Houston Police Department has criminal investigation open up into Deshaun Watson. If that criminal investigation leads to a conviction down the line, a conviction of sexual assault or harassment, Deshaun could face a year suspension, 2 year suspension, who knows? And that's on top of the potential for jail time. Hard to play football when you're in jail. Only Adam Sandler's done it so far. It's tough to do. So we know that now we know over the last 2 days, or at least we're being told by NFL reporters, that the teams involved with trade talks, which now appears to, again, only be the Miami Dolphins, have told the Texans, we're in, but we want the legal things settled before we pull the trigger, which means Deshaun ain't going anywhere, okay? 22 lawsuits Deshaun has to respond to. And again, those are, as far as I'm aware, all civil suits, all right? I am in a position that breaks me from what I'm frequently called as the soft-hearted liberal on the show here. I am fine with the NFL not suspending Deshaun Watson based on civil suits. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. Texas says Burt Reynolds also played in prison. Good call. The OG longest yard. And Florida State Seminole was Burt Reynolds, by the way. That's where he played his college ball. How about that? You know who he played with back in the day? He was with Lee Corso way back in the day.
Whoa.
Corso also played at Florida State. So I think you set a potentially dangerous precedent if you start setting guys out for civil suits, because yes, there are psycho fans out there who would start laying down civil suits of different kinds against star players the week before they play. It's a crazy world we live in. However, if the criminal investigation really takes off, and if they start bringing charges against Deshaun, he becomes untouchable, which is why Miami is in a holding pattern. Miami's going, look, not worth bringing him in for this year. We're already behind the 8 ball in the playoffs. Adding Deshaun will make us better, but it's not going to jump us up into the, maybe long-term, maybe they could catch up in the AFC East, but I'm not banking on Deshaun. And knowing that it is still possible that criminal charges could be levied at any point. At any point, criminal charges could come down the pipe. And if that happens, that's when you must suspend a guy. That's when a guy has to go on the commission's exempt list, and you have to remove him. I think all those things combined are the reason that the Carolina Panthers are now officially out. Matt Rule was asked. He said, look, we got what we got, and we're rolling with it. In fact, he went so far as to say, I don't know where the reports of us being interested in Deshaun are coming from, but they are not coming from me, end quote. David Tepper apparently told Ann Rappaport or somebody connected to Rappaport earlier in the day that they have zero interest in Deshaun Watson at this point. And Drew, I got to tell you, that's the right call. For multiple reasons, on and off the field, that's the right call.
Yeah. I feel like the only teams who really could afford to take a chance on him is maybe the Buccaneers. I could see the Falcons actually pulling a stunt and trying to do it. They have experience with these kind of quarterbacks being able to come back from jail and play and things like that. So maybe they'll play around with it. I think a good fit for Deshaun would almost be the Steelers, somewhere along there. But no, the Panthers is just not a good fit for Deshaun in general, I don't think.
Right now, there's no good fit for Deshaun Watson. There just isn't. There's no good fit for Deshaun Watson. Even if I'm only talking Forget the off the field stuff, which is of vast importance. I'm not diminishing it.
Right.
If I'm just talking football, just on the field stuff, it's not. There's nowhere that's a good fit. Because, if you're, let's say you're Matty Ice, or let's say you're the Atlanta Falcons, you got Matty Ice, and you're committed to Matt Ryan moving forward. Even if you're bringing Deshaun and go, okay, Matty Ice has got 1, maybe 2 seasons left in him, we'll start working Deshaun into the background. Number one, Deshaun Watson ain't signing except for Pro Bowl quarterback money. You can't have 2 contracts like that in one position on the team. Number two, remember, at the end of the day, Deshaun does still have a no trade clause where he can pick his own destination. He ain't going somewhere to be a backup. All right. He's just not going to do it. Even if it was, let's say, Pittsburgh, and let's say Big Ben says, I'm out this year. This is it for me. Retirement ceremony at the end of the year, no matter what. Pittsburgh has still got to give up 4 first-round picks for the guy. You're about to have to blow up that team because guys are going to leave when Ben leaves. There are some guys that play with a team just for the quarterback. Every time we see a quarterback go, you see some key parts move on with rare exception. How are you going to rebuild a team when you're just giving away 3 years worth of draft picks? I can go back to when the Saints drafted Ricky Williams, remember, out of Texas? And the Saints gave away like 7 years worth of draft picks. And they had their guy. They had the Heisman Trophy winner, Ricky Williams, down there. And he was going to be the next big thing at running back. And then what happened? The Saints were garbage for about 10 years because they couldn't add anything. Because it's not just about being able to draft guys, but it's about having those picks in the pocket when a big free agent that immediately fills a hole is available. You don't have any more trade bait to give away. You can't do it. There is no good fit for Deshaun Watson in the NFL at this point. And all of that is before we even get to the point that there are criminal investigations. Now, it's one thing for a criminal investigation that's a low-level criminal investigation. It's another thing when you have a criminal investigation piled on top of 22 civil suits. 22.
Yeah.
Now, is there some world in which, yes, there are 22 women that are all in cahoots and all lying? Yeah, but I'm not putting my money on that being true.
No,
all right?
That's why I thought maybe he would settle with a quarterback who's about to retire. Because in 2 years, hey, if you're clear, you're good to go. Why would he not take that deal?
I don't know if it's about Deshaun, though. Right? Because you've got now the Dolphins have been the only team that have been consistently in discussions with the Texans about taking the guy.
Of which
and now,
that's like denial today. No,
correct.
We're not.
Correct. In fact, Stephen Ross, the owner, has not necessarily denied that they're involved.
No, he just won't talk about it.
He's just not saying anything. And on top of not saying anything, now that officers are saying all the legal stuff's got to be cleared up before we pull the trigger on this trade.
Yep.
Well, if the legal stuff gets cleared up, great. But then you're going to have 13 other teams that are right back into the mix, and that cost goes up. Deshaun's not a good fit anywhere. Deshaun is toxic right now. I'm sorry to tell you. He's toxic right now. There is no landing spot. The Carolina Panthers have made the correct decision in withdrawing their name from consideration. Quick break. We wrap up hour number 2 next on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
Everything's good for 4 minutes.
10-4. Ooh, Tiger King 2's coming.
Jennifer Lucic on ESPN Upstate, currently at 67.
Keep up to date with every Upstate high school football game in real time. The ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Set up a profile, create your feed, and follow your favorite teams. Know when the big plays happen and when the games go viral. The ESPN Upstate score stream. Get all the high school football scores in one place at ESPNUpstate.com.
The manufacturing of Reaper Learning. Convention Center. You are a small to mid-sized manufacturer who your team can afford. Daily keynotes, a digital transformation bill, and much more. You'll gain valuable insights you can put to work right away. Attend SouthTech in person, and you will be entered to win one of $1,000 gift cards. For more information about contest rules and to register, visit southtechonline.com and enter promo code RADIO, RADIO. That's southteconline.com, promo code RADIO. See you there.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with British accents. So to help you, the insurance company customizes your home insurance so you don't take it from a Brit. Can you just say Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationship. To walk through this alone. For 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided me in challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 5580 Place, Suite 900, Greenville, South Carolina, 29601.
It's got 2.5 minutes. This is going to be a short segment.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40. But the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it. Fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines.
Adam says he's going to fall for classic ball number 3 again and bet on the Braves. No, absolutely not.
I think he was talking to me, though.
Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you, you shouldn't either. I would rather not make money than put my money on an Atlanta team in the postseason. I will take my $20 and keep it securely snugged in my wallet. Which is not true because I don't carry cash. But if I did, that's where it would be. I will say that the Braves win when the Braves win. When it's over. That's the time that I'll fall in love again.
I think it's just a little unfair to cross-mix your sports. The Braves have never been in a position like this.
They were. They got swept in 99. They hadn't been back since then.
Well, they haven't been back since then.
It's
Is
just
kind of my
Atlanta
point.
sports as a whole.
Yeah, see,
The
people
curse
say
of 28
Atlanta
to
in
3.
general. I just disagree. The Braves is totally different than the Falcons. I pull for the Braves. I don't pull for the Falcons. That's true. I agree with that.
When they had the 3-1 lead against the Dodgers this year in the NLCS, I was like, I'm still not celebrating.
Yeah.
I'll celebrate when
And that
it's
was
over.
fair back then. I did kind of have that uneasy feeling, but I just feel like this team's a little different. I can say that after last night, but tonight might change my tune. Come on back.
Made for upstate sports junkies.
These pathetic junkies? Oh, look at them.
You eat sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show, noon to 3 every weekday on ESPN Upstate.
All right, let's rock and roll. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, DJ Drew filling in for Alonzo today. Zoe out on vacation. He'll be back with us on Monday. Drew will be hanging out with us through the rest of the week. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Texter says, Is Deshaun Watson getting paid? Is it short-term criminal disability or full salary? He is getting paid his full base salary right now. So he's making about $600,000 a game. Final year of his rookie contract. So he's got about $10.2 million coming over the course of the season. So it works out to be a tad over $600,000 per game. He is still getting paid because he is on the 53-man roster and he is being listed. I forget the exact term, but it's like non-injury, non-participant or something like that is his official title on their chart. But he could play. They could plug him in this weekend if they wanted to. Another texter says it's going to settle out in court. Deshaun is going to be fine. Now, I wouldn't pay anything near what they want for him. I don't know why they don't play him. I suspect the 22 suits will settle out of court. But those are only a part of the problem, right? Those are the shadow lingering because of the fact that there are those criminal investigations going on. Those criminal investigations are the hampering point for another team picking him up. Because if one of those comes to charges and to conviction, that's where the NFL will likely finally step in and say, no, he's out for 6 months, a year, a full season, multiple seasons, who knows? But that's going to be the main part. That's going to be the main reason. It's not the civil suits. Those don't help. The fact that there are 22 suits are why they are taking the investigation so seriously at this point. Let's take a break. Hour number 3 just around the corner. Rob, Drew, you. It's ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville, WORD Spartanburg, WFBC FM HD3.
An Odyssey station.
Great Scott!
Nope.
Why is that not there? We'll have to clear that up with...
Maybe they don't start until 3. It just throws me because I thought for sure it would start at 2. I hadn't heard that one. That's a good promo. You good to open, or you want one more promo?
Throw one more in there.
I got you.
Right now are setting Diesel is setting you gotta tell me, my man looks good in that jersey. And Tom Brady in the sum of all parts. You think like Captain Planet. Remember Planet when all of the Planeteers, they were good. You gotta think of every one of Tom Brady's attributes as a so solitary Planeteer. But when you combine the power, you summon the power of Tom Brady.
To the end zone.
Bring pollution down.
7 p.m. on ESPN Upstate.
And check this out.
For an official rundown.
Represents being weird.
Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, in front of the glass, well, on the other side of it, literally and metaphorically, filling in for the great Malonzo, DJ Drew on the ones and twos. How we feeling, big dog, heading into hour number 3?
Feeling amazing if you're a sports fan in the South. This is the pinnacle of sports season because this week is the time that you have, of course, the heart of football where anything can still happen. The pinnacle of baseball as we wrap up and we have our Braves in the World Series for the first time in forever. And then we actually have the start of our third favorite sport, basketball. There are a few exhibition games in college basketball happening, and it's just fun to really pick your top teams right now, who's going to win it. And I know it's too early for that. We're not going to get into it on the talk stations, but we are going to watch it this weekend. At least I am a few exhibitions. So
yes, indeed.
Start your free trial. If you don't have TV, just get a 7-day free trial because now is the time. You have to be watching everything.
Yes, indeed. We got college basketball, NBA already underway.
Yep.
NHL is 4 or 5 games deep now. By the way, the Greenville Swamp Rabbits get their home season kicked off Friday and Saturday. Friday night, game number 1 at the Well. Then on Saturday, a rematch with the rival South Carolina Stingrays. Looking forward to that, man. What a time to be alive. Hey, I have to complain about a thing that's going to open me up to some criticism. You ready?
All right.
From this point forward, all new NFL stadiums shall be built with domes. All should be built with domes. All of them. No
That's a
more
given.
outside games.
Yeah.
No more outside games. We have now had multiple games this year played in torrential downpours that were, I'm sorry to say, boring. All right. Now, I'm in for a good defensive struggle. Okay. I am in for a 7-3 football game where 2 really good defenses do everything they can do to keep the other team out of the end zone. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Okay. But torrential rain downpour games are terrible. I hate them. Weather games are boring. I'm sorry. Weather games are boring. Oh, Rob, that's man football and rolling around in the slop in the mud. No, that's not good football. I don't want to see which team is better at not dropping a wet football. I want to see which team's better at football. And you can't do that in the rain. I watched that Saints Seahawks game on Monday night. I watched that Indy San Francisco game last Thursday. Both of those games in a torrential downpour. And how would you describe those 2 games? Snoozers. I'm a Saints fan, dude. I mean, it was exciting in that we were trying to figure out who's going to win. But we had dropped passes, fumbles, overthrows and underthrows because the ball was slipping out of the hands of the quarterbacks. It was boring. Both of those games were awful, and they're not the first ones this year. We've had multiple games played in the rain that were just ugly to watch. They were just ugly to watch from top to bottom. If you want to make the argument that retractable roofs should be used, I mean, every new stadium has a retractable roof, right?
Yeah.
Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, they all have.
Because I worked at the Atlanta Stadium, and
The new
just for the Mercedes-Benz was amazing for the security. I thought you were going a different route on this weather thing, but for those who work there, we are pleading for that kind of climate control. Now, it is cool when guys play in the snow. Just open that roof up and let it snow onto the turf, and that is amazing.
No, it's not.
But you can
Because
close it if you want to. Okay, let's take a vote.
Every NFL game
It
should be
doesn't-
played in 72 and sunny. Every NFL game, 72 and sunny.
And we did. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Love the bins.
Every game.
It was beautiful.
Every game.
And when we had the Super Bowl there, I mean, you knew it was pristine conditions. How convincing is it to say, hey, come to our city and play your Super Bowl here where it will always be perfect? Every single new stadium ever
72
built
and sunny.
has no reason not to put that retractable
Yeah.
roof in there.
Yeah. Look, if it's in the 50s, 60s, and you want to do that, all right, like cool. I guess I can deal with 50s and 60s. If it's in the 40s or below, no, because the cold impacts the game. All right. It slows the game down. It bogs the game down. It creates injuries in guys who are trying to go from hot to cold to cold to hot to cold. If it's snowing, the field gets harder. The moisture of the snow gets on the ball and makes it wet and gross. Think about all the snow games. How many snow games have we watched that at the end of the game you're like, wow, that was entertaining? Very few. The majority of snow games are just like rain games. They're just boring. They just become who can ISO run better. That's it. Who can ISO run better? And if you've got a team that's built to be wide open, the Arizona Cardinals this year, for a handful of years, Drew Brees' New Orleans Saints, for a handful of years, Matty Ice's Atlanta Falcons. When you got teams that go out and get great wide receivers and put all their chips into the basket of being wide open, and then they got to go play in the snow or the rain or the freezing cold, you've now just hamstrung that team because I like mud. Get out of here with that, man. It's weak. If you guys liked mud football so much, we'd stop putting artificial turf fields into the league. Every team would have to put a grass field down.
Just a giant monster truck scenario. Yeah. No, I think Minnesota has used it to their advantage at that time of the year. I can't stand the heat. Maybe the ones who are the exceptions are the California teams or maybe Arizona Cardinals. Do they really need one? I don't know. Seems like they always have pristine conditions over there, but it still could rain, is your point. So no rain.
Keep in mind, earlier this year we had an LA game, LA game that got delayed due to lightning.
Yeah,
in a stadium with a retractable roof because they had it open.
Right.
If like there's even a threat of rain, close that bad boy. Let's play inside. Like what's the deal? If it's a beautiful night, cool. Open it up. Let's play under the stars. I'm good with that. But when it's rainy or snowy and cold and gross, it bogs the football game down.
Yeah.
It slows the game down. It creates injuries and it makes games boring. Again, Seattle, New Orleans, this past Monday night, 13-10 was the final. Could have been 16-13. Seattle missed, I think, 2 field goals in that game. But there were overthrows because the ball was slipping out of the hands of quarterbacks. Guys were dropping the ball. Because it was a sloppy game. Sloppy game. Let's see. Texter says, ESPN, it's hot as in Florida. It's cold in New England and the upper states. Every single baseball stadium is different sizes. Terrible argument. Well, I'm not talking about baseball. I'm talking about football. You're setting up a straw man. I'm talking about football. Now, if it had been from the beginning that every football state or every football field was shaped differently based on the stadium, then whatever, unique. That's not the case. Every football field is X yards long, X yards wide, with the hash marks marked at certain spots and 5-yard dividers down the field. It's supposed to be uniform, but it's not. ESPN, the Patriots playoff game where they had to shovel the field to kick the extra point. Players are playing in the snow. It's not weak. You're a B. Cool. Like, I want my sports to be good. I want to see the best football team. If you are the dude that's like, I run out in the snow in my undergarments because I'm tough. No, that's not tough. That's dumb. We are past that point, man. We're past that point. I have never understood why I can withstand cold that makes you tough. Does it? You know what it makes me to put on a jacket? Smarter than you. What are we doing here, guys? That's your argument?
Next says, Rob, no, just next you'll be telling us how football needs to be played, but football as an F-U-T-B-O-L. But that argument goes against the Atlanta United, too. This is what made soccer so exciting in Atlanta, was the fact that they got to play at the Benz on that turf, state-of-the-art turf, which was just amazing. They can turn that field around from football to soccer in just a matter of minutes. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And I absolutely love the stadium. So football absolutely could be better played, a.k.a. soccer, on that kind of environment, because it does. And I this is how I thought you were going to run the argument, is the fact for the fans' experience. And that's where I'm coming from. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium is always packed out because we always know it's going to be awesome. And that's why I loved working there. So for my experience, but for the football players, I hadn't really thought about the conditions need to change to always be perfect. I thought that was always part of the game of football. Snow is especially awesome for the Patriots if you're a Patriots fan. They expect to win in the cold.
I I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how do rain games not? First off, the television presentation goes downhill dramatically.
Yeah.
Right. I did not buy a 65-inch HD 4K TV to still watch blurry football. All right. Second off, quarterbacks can't throw the balls effectively, so you don't learn who the better team is. You just learn who's better when the ball's wet, which is not football, right? If we're doing that, why not? All right, let's just let teams dunk the ball in water before they give it over to the other team. If that's what we're going for. Come on, man. Texas says the stadium is a dump, but when I lived in Toronto, they had 2 rain delays in like 30 years at the Sky Dome. Yeah, give me retractable roofs. Texas says, I like snowy weather. I like the rainy weather. Retractable roof is fine. Dome, absolutely not. Look, if you want to go retractable roof so that when the weather's nice outside, you can open it up and play in the fresh air, I'm cool with that. That's
the way
fine.
to go. Yep.
If you want to go Mercedes-Benz Dome, if you want to go Jerry World, if you want to go SoFi Stadium with the retractable roof for every stadium, I'm good with that. Just no more open air environments. All right. No more purely open air environments. They're boring. They're boring when the rain's there. Texas says retracting domes only open when snow is in the forecast. Nope. Texas says, wow, Rob, first you let the government tell you to vaccinate and now you want to control the weather. Sounds pretty beta male if you ask me. Hashtag nailed it. Yeah,
You are all in control of this liberalism. I say, let's go, Brandon.
Running around.
No domes.
In fact, not even no domes anymore, Drew. I'm taking the whole thing back. I'm reversing course. No domes and only dirt fields from now on. And we spray them down with like 1 million gallons of water before. Football is now played in a mud pit because that's how tough guys do it, right? We play in the mud. Football fields, only mud pits now. No more grass. Get rid of the grass. No more artificial turf. Get rid of it all. We just make the whole field mud. We spray it down with water. We get it nice and like college frat party gross. And then they play in it.
I just want to see hockey face the same conditions. Playing in the rain, with snow coming down on the ice.
They've done a couple of the Winter Classics and it snowed on them.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want this to, like, we can address other sports as the other sports individually. I'm not even talking college football right now.
Well, I was just kind of making the point
impossible.
that hockey is a better sport indoors, even though it's played on ice,
Yes.
ironically enough, because we don't have to deal with the conditions.
Yes.
So we see who the better team is.
Yeah. Don't tell me we prefer the cold, because if that was true, all the hockey stadiums in North would be open air stadiums.
Yeah.
Even the Canadians are like, nope, we elect to live here, but when we want to watch sports, we want a roof. All right. ESPN put all sports in the best conditions. That would make better play all around. No, Benji, if that's a possibility, and listen, you can't do that to college football, right? There's just not enough money to dome over college. If I had billions, like if I was Jeff Bezos, I would pay to put a roof on every college stadium, even if it's just like a giant ass tent to keep the rain out. I would do it. Because again, I want to know who plays football the best, not who doesn't drop the football when it's wet the best.
And it's sport by sport. You can't do that with like golf. You just delay it. If it's wet outside and then stopped raining, then you keep playing. I mean, yeah, every sport is going to be different. To say that, you can't put soccer indoors. That's what they're doing now. To say you shouldn't worry about the weather with indoors with football. Well, man, what team doesn't want to go up to Syracuse and play inside that nice warm weather of Syracuse versus outdoors in a better NFL stadium up there in New York, but it's freezing to death. We love indoor.
I know people always got mad when Eli got drafted and then, immediately got traded because he didn't want to play in San Diego. And I get all that. I tell you what, the only way you would ever get Rob Brown to go, yeah, I'm not playing there. Like if I'm a first overall draft pick and they go, you've been drafted to Green Bay. Nope, I'm all right. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Snow in the 20 degrees and play football in snow in 20 degrees? No, I'm all right. Oh, you're weak. All right, cool. You know what else I am? Freaking warm.
You're also poor if no one else picks you up because the Green Bay Packers drafting Rob Brown, I guarantee you're lying through your teeth right
now. All right, here's another text. I just don't get the argument. Football is played outdoors. Get over it. Really? Because New Orleans and Atlanta and like half the league
they're starting to
play
do it
inside.
Right.
Your argument is literally wrong. by half of the National Football League.
It's going this direction. Why can't everybody just start to all build new stadiums with the new technology? It's amazing.
Every stadium being built has a freaking roof.
It's good that I'm agreeing with you right now. I usually argue with you on everything.
Welcome to my world, buddy.
I agree with it.
Texter, Green Bay and Buffalo and New England will boycott the retractable roof mandate. They can't win home playoff games in their minds without the cold weather. Well, then get better at football.
They believe that.
Then get better at football. Is it a decisive advantage to those teams? You know, if all the people on the Green Bay Packers were from Green Bay, I'd go, okay, yeah, like that's all you played in, right? That's the whole argument about Northerners, Big Ten folks get upset that all the bowl games are in the South because the weather's nice. And nobody wants to go watch a bowl game between two teams they don't care. Who's going to watch Northwestern play Hawaii in the Ida Snow Bowl? Nobody. There's a reason for that. Texas says, hey, why don't we give them all flags or play touch football as well? Hey, Rob, the streetlights are about to come on. Time to go home, buddy. That's just so – I am not –
I think these are New England fans who are typing this, though. It's
got to be, right?
Because the New England Patriots, you cannot tell them to play indoors, especially if they have home field advantage. They would never, ever go for that. They firmly believe that gives them every advantage, and history has proven that correct.
Do you understand that football is tough? Like, it's a harder-hitting, faster sport when it's 72 and sunny than in the snow. In the snow, it's just slogging it out at close contact at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and your argument is for the rain, but – man, if you're winning for the cold, can't you play indoors and just crank it down? No, yeah. I'm kidding. That's obviously not what they would do. But yeah, these rainy cities, Seattle and New Orleans and all these other places, a dome just makes sense because Atlanta is freaking hot when you first start football most of the time.
I just make football the best football can be. And football in the snow is not the best it can be. Well, then it's just all about physical football. Well, then you're taking away half the game. If that's your argument, then just be against the forward pass. Let's go back to the 30s. No more forward passes because it's supposed to only be about big guys brutishly hitting each other. That's not what football is.
If you had the elements actually play a part in this on purpose somehow, it's not water polo, then yeah, I would agree that we need to keep things as they are, but as they are, the trend seems to be going building more stadiums indoors. And that's kind of how you started this argument. I think every new stadium built needs to kind of think ahead about the best way to play the game. And the game is normally played in sunny, nice weather in the South. That's how we think of football. We don't normally think of wet, rainy, sloshing water polo.
I'll tell you right now, I'm a big fan. I'm a Saints guy, have been my whole life, born in New Orleans. If they're playing in Charlotte right up the road and it's like pouring ass rain like it was in Seattle on Monday, I don't think I'm going. That's a miserable experience. You have the best poncho in the world. If my beer is gonna be in the rain, I'm not interested in going to it.
Yeah.
And I know there are hardcore fans that will. I'm damn sure not going to Green Bay in December when it's 14 degrees and snowy to watch a game. But you're expecting these guys to give you the best possible football game? Nah, it's going to be a snoozer, bro.
And that's why I thought you were going to go with the fan perspective. There's not a single Liberty Bowl I can remember that wasn't going to have rain in the forecast. Everybody in any SEC team is just like, if you go to the Liberty Bowl, you might as well not go because it's a horrible experience every year.
We need Lonzo back because before long, Rob will be hollering for Robo. Oh, wait, never mind. Did you watch that game last night? Tell me Houston wasn't getting an edge from the umpire last night. If you watched that game, you know he was. ESPN, teams that spend money on elite quarterbacks are hampered by teams with menacing pass rushes. Let's just make the NFL 7v7. But the thing that you're arguing is an on-the-field thing that a football team can control. The thing that I'm arguing is an off-the-field thing that impacts the game that neither team has control over. Do you see the difference? If you don't get why teams shouldn't be allowed to pay big defensive tackles is different than football in the rain sucks and is slow, I don't know what to say because those are two different things. Calm down, Don Quixote.
I didn't really know. You called it. I didn't really think this would be that hot of a topic. I thought it was just a great. Wow.
I told you
you
it would
knew
be.
it. You knew this
Absolutely.
demographic. I'm still a newbie here. All right.
All right, let's take a break. Come back after this. My name is Rob Brown. Drew's at the helm. Your texts are welcome at 71307. Starting with ESPN. We'll read them on the air. Quick break back after this. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. It's ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
Told you.
That's amazing.
This one, it's
Gotta have weather.
people who want man sloppy muddy football.
Syracuse doesn't play real football.
Game 2 is tonight. First pitch just after 8 o'clock Eastern. Lucky Max Fried starts for Atlanta. Right-hander Jose Urquidy gets the nod for the Astros. Big Thursday night football matchup on tap tomorrow when the Packers battle the Cardinals. Arizona 7-0. Green Bay 6-1. ESPN Upstate is your home for Furman Paladins football every Saturday. Pregame starts 90 minutes before kickoff. That's the Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders on ESPN Upstate.
High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more from the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m.
Hey, this says Mad World Haunted Attraction.
That's a live read.
Do you? Yeah, that's this break. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
In a second.
Yeah.
Let me copy us.
Throw a stop in after either this or the next commercial.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll do it in 43 seconds.
Okay.
Move here.
If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and steroids and you really want to avoid surgery, you need to check out QC Kinetics. Regenerative, restorative, natural treatment for knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips.
Don't continue to suffer and don't go in for surgery until you check this out. See if you're a candidate. QC Kinetics.
Call 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. No surgical pain relief with lasting results.
And you're good. 3 seconds.
Let me tell you about Mad World Haunted Attractions. Mad World is incredible. If you're a Halloween person, right? You're one of those people that gets angry at those putting up Christmas decorations because we get Halloween first, dang it. Then you need to go see our friends at Mad World. And the 2021 version is bigger, better, badder, and scarier than ever before. They have more scenes, more actors, top-notch actors, by the way. I got the chance to meet a few of them. These folks love doing what they do, getting dressed up, putting on the costumes, putting on the makeup, and scaring the daylights out of visitors to Mad World. Halloween is just a few days away, and you have got plenty of time to get in and experience Mad World, a Halloween experience unlike any ever before, voted the #1 haunted attraction in all of the Palmetto State, and every year voted one of the top 10 attractions in the United States. But don't show up and wait in line. Go to madworldattractions.com, madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets and reserve a time to visit now so that you can get there, go in, and enjoy the scenes, the actors, the special effects, the bonfires, the music. It's an incredible experience. Take my word for it. Go to madworldattractions.com. Get your tickets. Get your spot in line so you don't have to wait at madworldattractions.com. It's the 2021 version of Mad World.
Have you been?
Not to it when it's like a full haunted house.
I wanted to.
But I went to the night they opened up they brought us in to let us play the putt-putt course that they just opened there.
Yeah.
And then they took us on a tour of it. And like, even without the actors running around, it was creepy.
Yeah. I worked at a haunted house a few years ago. I'd love to work there.
Oh, yeah.
Brings you local sports talk across the NFL's biggest markets. Get Monday morning reactions and exclusive interviews with football pros like Patrick Mahomes, Matt Jones, and more. Even check out what your rivals are up to with local coverage and fan reactions from their stations. Plus podcasts for your team. We got you covered from all angles. Stay in touch with the heartbeat of your team, even when you're thousands of miles away. Download the Odyssey app today to get started.
Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. Right now, get up to a $20 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs. Plus, earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Get ready for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Oh, we're back. I'm so sorry.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Named the best sports talk show in South Carolina. The Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN Upstate.
Roll it all with the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, all around the world on the Odyssey app. I want to remind you that live coverage of game number 2 in the World Series is on the air tonight at 7 p.m., right after Offsides with Diesel and Mark Ryan. We will kick coverage down to H-Town, an hour of pregame, followed by the entire game, pitch by pitch, right here on ESPN Upstate. You don't have to miss a minute of the game. So if you're one of those folks that unfortunately is going to be driving around, or you're sitting at work and you can't get out around the TV, we got you covered. Go to 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, and you can listen to live coverage from first pitch to final out right here on ESPN Upstate. Texter says Arizona literally rolls their field out and grows grass and rolls it in. Whatever the owner wants to make that green, they pay the red nose commish. Honk, honk, da, 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 la, la, da, da, da. The official theme song of Roger Goodell's office. Of course, he don't care because he's bringing in $35 million a year. Ain't bothering him at all. Like I said, rain games are boring. They just are. You say whatever you want. Oh, it's man football. You can call it, say whatever you want to say it is. It's boring. All right. It's boring. All right. A couple of other things I wanted to get into on the show today. Carly Lloyd called it a career yesterday for the U.S. women's national soccer team. From this point forward, if you're going to talk about the greatest athletes to ever represent the United States on the national stage, her name is on that discussion. That's not a question. That's a statement. All right. It just is. Carly Lloyd has been nothing short of magnificent as a Team USA player for the women's national team. She has been a massive part of the reason that this team is what it is, right? She has been a massive part of the reason that Team USA, the women's side, has been as successful as it has been. So last night, she called it a career after a 6-0 win in a friendly against South Korea. She walked off. She took to the podium in her post-game presser, and she said this.
I do a lot of just reflection, whether I'm, going to bed at night and I just kind of think and I reflect and I sort of compile all these things that I want to say. And, I think when I say things, it comes from the heart, and it kind of makes it easier to just say things and let them flow. But I just felt like at this point, everything's been said. There's been articles, there's been quotes, there's been the Players Tribune, there's been your article, so many other articles. And I just felt it was a great opportunity to thank those who do such selfless work for this team to make our team so successful. And there's been some incredible people along the way for 17 years that I've been a part of this team. Doctors who come and don't get paid, trainers, PT, massage, just everybody, our admin, equipment. I mean, there's so much that goes into this team, and I have been so appreciative of every single one of those people. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really need to say much more. I just wanted to thank everybody because without them, this journey's not possible.
That's Carli Lloyd. She got to the podium, could have talked about herself, could have talked about her career, could have talked about her numbers, her stats. What does she do? She made sure to take the time for her longest soundbite to be that of her thanking all of the unknown, unnamed folks who have been a massive part of Team USA success over her run. Not just a great player, tremendous person as well. I actually have had Carli Lloyd on my show, and I'm trying to get her again. I've had Carli Lloyd on my show twice in my career, and both times she has been exceptional. She loves talking about this team. She has loved talking about her teammates. She has loved talking about the success that they have had, and she has loved being a voice for promoting women's sports around the country, which is invaluable. Pair of Olympic gold medals for the young lady, a pair of World Cup titles for Carli Lloyd, 315 career games scored, 134 goals with the United States at 39 years of age, and no one has had anything to say. No one has had anything negative to say about Carli Lloyd, as far as I know, her entire career. The young lady has been a phenom. She has been tremendous, both as a person and as a player. Obviously, her success on the pitch it's going to be very difficult for anybody to match, right? There's a couple of ladies out there that are probably going to get close, or maybe a few that might say. Alex Morgan will be up there when she's done. I think she only needs like 30 more goals to catch Carli. I think she's at 113, so maybe like 20 goals more to catch Carli. Megan Rapinoe, however you feel about her off the pitch, has been an invaluable member on it. But Carli Lloyd has been the standard bearer for this team for the better part of a couple of decades, from the rise of the U.S. women's national team up through the incredible success. Last year when we were leading up to the Olympics and we were talking about Team USA and USA Sports and U.S. Soccer as the men have opened up their qualifying window for the 2022 World Cup, it really kind of warmed my heart, the number of texters and callers we got that said, when you say Team USA Soccer, I think about the women's side, right? Like, that's the default side. They're the ones with the trophies, the hardware, the success, the worldwide notoriety. The U.S. women's team have been Team USA in soccer for some time. And I know it's true because in just about every other sport, Drew, when we label the sports, we say what? We say college basketball and women's college basketball, right? We say, women's swimming and diving or swimming and diving. We don't distinguish. Soccer is one of the few sports at the international level that when you talk about it and you say Team USA, you distinguish the men, right? You say it's the men's team or the women's team. It's one of the, and that is partially because of the efforts of women like Carli Lloyd. So, congratulations to her on an incredible career, on a send-off last night with standing ovation from the tens of thousands that were in attendance. She has been an integral part of not just growing Team USA soccer to the powerhouse that it is today, but growing women's sports across the country and keeping women involved in and understanding that there is a place for them in international competition. Carli is a tremendous person and a hell of a player and will be missed on the international scale without a doubt. All right, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Let's take a break, come back. One more segment before we get out of here with Twitter trending topics to wrap it all up. And that's next on The Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're on the way, and bringing friends and family with them. This is Don with American-made windows, and now is the time to update and upgrade your home with our beautiful energy-efficient windows before the guests arrive. Nothing improves the look of your home like new windows, and ours are energy-efficient, affordable, and we do expert work quickly and cleanly. Visit smwupstate.com or call 334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American made.
According to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will know that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply. 82% of you will also know that I my mom. But the most important thing to know is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people say me saying it. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
It takes 2 vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit. Learn more at cdc.gov/vaccines.
My family's protected. Is yours? You don't have life insurance? Listen up, because I'm going to help you knock a big item off your to-do list this week. Now, you don't want just anyone for this. You need a pro. That's why you need SelectQuote. For over 35 years, SelectQuote has helped people save 50% or more by shopping highly rated insurance.
40 seconds.
SelectQuote found a 40-year-old guy with high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's right, $19 a month. Seriously, that's nothing to be able to protect your family and all you work for. You'll be surprised on how affordable a policy can be. Plus, quotes at SelectQuote are free and take only minutes. Take a couple of minutes to get your free quote. Call 800-960-3030. That's 800-960-3030. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com. Full details on sample policy and carrier ratings at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Price could vary by health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available.
Coming back.
More than the scores, the ups and downs, the ins and outs. Real, unfiltered sports talk. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, 844-477-3776. Texter says, if you believe football is more entertaining than sports, stick to wrestling. If you believe football is, more entertainment than sport, stick to wrestling. I mean, it is entertainment, but I'm not asking for it to be more entertaining. I'm asking for good football. That's all. And if I got a team that elects to put all its eggs into the basket of being a wide open team, I want to see who the better football team is, not the team that doesn't slip on the wet mud better, not the team that doesn't fumble a wet ball better. I'm asking for the best football as a sport. That's it. That's all. ESPN, the women's soccer team, has completely disrespected the country over the last few years. Disagree. I think they've been fantastic. You can be against their politics if you want. That's cool. I got news for you. There's a lot of guys in the NFL whose politics I don't like. Do you know what I think about on Sunday when they line it up and snap it at 1 PM? Nothing. It's football day. All right? It's football day. It's that simple. Now, it might feel different if, like, one of them was a, actual Third Reich supporter. Hey, I can't really do that. But there's a lot of guys in the league whose politics I am adamantly against. And you know what happens when they snap it on Sunday? I go away from the football field. They're human beings who are allowed to have their own stances, viewpoints, opinions, and act on them as they wish as private citizens. Just because they get more press coverage doesn't mean that they have to, barrel all of that up while they play football.
I kind of think when someone retires, it's a little different than a game. When somebody is actively doing something right before a game or during a national anthem or something that just really gets under your skin, that's one thing to maybe look at that differently. But when somebody retires, I remember Tom Brady really getting under my skin when he was with the Patriots. If he had retired, we would have all respected what he did the same way that Tom Brady respected when Peyton Manning was inducted into the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. I mean, when somebody retires, I think it's just different to honor what they did in their career.
Sure. And look, I approached the discussion about Carly Lloyd as an athlete.
Right.
And when Megan Rapinoe, arguably the most divisive player on the team, retires, I'll approach her career as an athlete.
Yeah, that's different.
There's stuff Megan Rapinoe said that I'm like, I'm not going down that path with you. There's a lot of things she said that tick people off that I'm like, yeah, I got your back. I absolutely support you. Nuance is a thing that we have lost in this country, I think. But when we talk about them as an athlete, Carly Lloyd has been an incredibly important athlete for American women. And incredibly important for American women.
We respect the athlete for what they did for the game and all that stuff. And that's why, I give the analogy of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, but they didn't say anything political that got under my skin.
True.
But even if they did, still, you honor for how well they played the game.
Yeah, agreed. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Look, I'm not saying like, oh, you have to watch it.
No.
I'm saying Carly athletes, like her or hate her, which I don't know why. Carly's probably one of the few that I could be honest, I couldn't tell you what Carly's political views are.
She's never come out.
Yeah, she's never really expressed them.
Right.
I know she has done stuff in solidarity with the team, but she's never like, my turn with the mic. So I don't know. And I frankly don't care. I know she has been one of the most important American female athletes in the last 20, 25 years. She has opened the game up to a generation of women and made a generation of women go, you can be on the national scale too by playing sports. You can be a renowned American athlete by playing sports. You can be this important if you only believe that you can. And she's done a great job of conveying that message. And I respect her for it.
You'd be hard pressed to find out what she actually believes. And then once you did, then you can make your decision whether you're going to respect her or not just because she was a part of this team. Now, come on. She hasn't been the main voice of whatever you agree with. So, yeah, let's just honor her day for what she is because she is a GOAT.
All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. One last thing before we take a break. We got into it very briefly earlier, but man, did the NHL make Roger Goodell look silly yesterday. All right, made him look silly. So, nuts and bolts version, if you have not followed, the Chicago Blackhawks, there have been an investigation into the Chicago NHL franchise because a couple of years ago, they had a coach who sexually assaulted one player and then sexually harassed other players on the team. Male coach who coerced sexual activity upon one player and then sexually harassed other players on the team. An anonymous NHL player brought it forward to the league. The league did a full-scale investigation, found out that this impropriety had indeed happened. The Chicago Blackhawks as an organization have been fined $2 million. The president of hockey operations, Stan Bowman, has been forced to resign from after the investigation. Senior director of hockey administration, Al McIsaac, is also out, meaning that there are no Blackhawks executives that were involved with the 2010 team when this happened still on the roster. The league has also fined the team $2 million. Half of that is going to be going to local charities in the Windy City that support victims of sexual assault. And yesterday, the NHL had a press conference where they put out all the details. And then you know what they did? Roger Goodell, they released the entire results of the investigation. You can go online and read them. It's a tough read. It's an ugly read. It's a dirty read, but they put it all out there in the name of transparency. And they did it literally minutes after Roger Goodell said, we're not going to put out the investigation because we want to protect the anonymity of those involved. Well, I got news for you. You know what the NHL did yesterday? They put out the full investigation and protected the anonymity of those involved. We still don't know who John Doe is. He is the player that was sexually assaulted by the then video coach. We don't know who any of the other players are that received the sexual harassment from the Blackhawks staff. We don't know any of those. But we know the investigation. We know the results of the investigation. We know who was talked to, when they were talked to, why they were talked to. We know where the data came from, where the information came from, which phones were looked into, which emails were read. We have all that now. You see, Roger Goodell, what you said yesterday in that press conference was, and let me use a big word so I sound fancy, Roger, stupid. Okay? It was dumb. We're not putting the results out because we want to protect the internet. Well, the NHL just put out the full results of their investigation into the Chicago Blackhawks. And you know what they did? Protected the anonymity of the people involved. You can do it, Roger. You can do it. You just don't want to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, Roger, you're still a clown. All right? You ever come on the show, you're still getting hit with the circus music. All right? But I also know that you are taking $35 million a year off the owners to do their bidding. We hear commission, we think ultimate authority, right? He's not. The owners are. This is a decision from the owners. 31 owners have rallied together to protect the last, to protect Dan Snyder. Well, he's been suspended for 4 months from the team. Cool. Have you taken away his paycheck? When Sean Payton got suspended for a year for Bountygate, a thing that it has been proven that many other NFL teams have done. And when Sean Payton got suspended for abusing drugs distributed to him by the medical staff of the team, he got suspended for a season. You know what happened to his paycheck? He didn't get it. $12 million down the pipe for Sean Payton. What's Dan Snyder lose? Nothing. $0. He has lost nothing because of this. There is no punishment. There's no punishment here. This has been allowed. It has been sanctified by the NFL. It has been permitted by the NFL. Now it's being celebrated. Goodell, you're a clown. I know you're a clown. You know you're a clown, but you're a clown because, hey, clowns in the circus get paid big money to be the number one entertainers, don't they? I know who the ringmaster is. It's the owners. And I'm pissed at them too. It is what it is. Quick break. Twitter Trending Topics wraps it up when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
With every Upstate high school football game in real time, the ESPN Upstate score stream at ESPNUpstate.com. Your favorite team. Let's go final. The ESPN Upstate. In one place. ESPNUpstate.com.
Does Mark Ryan come in person? So I need to put.
He'll come in on.
There.
Diesel should come in about a minute before so he can set it up.
Right. Log myself out.
Promo code radio. See you there.
That World Haunted attraction is now open. Voted one of America's. Full of elaborate sets, special effects, and top-notch actors. Play our creepy carnival games and escape rooms, or check out our brand new 18-hole. This report is
Remember, do I need a music bed under Twitter trending?
No, so there is a bed for it, which is the intro.
I got that.
So after the rejoin, hit that. It's time.
It's already got
Twitter
music.
blah 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 blah. And then once the guy's done talking, you lead us back in.
Right. Got it. I just couldn't remember if it had music with it or not because it says it's only 23 seconds.
Yep.
Multitask. Oh. Audience to hear it. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, there we go.
Is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases, and with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking.
¿De dónde eres? I gotta go buy a new laptop because my screen decided to shatter yesterday.
At least that didn't happen during COVID. At least that didn't happen.
True story.
Wow.
True story. Still sucks because now I gotta buy a whole new laptop. I just started to put some damn money away and now I get to blow right through most of it again.
Shoot.
Pain in the rear.
Yeah. It's man, the best time to buy is around Black Friday.
I know, and it's like
just like one more month.
do I hold off another month? But the problem is I host trivia. And I
You gotta have to have it, yeah.
So I think I'm gonna ask them if they have one I can borrow
Ooh.
until then.
Let me see if I have an extra. I might. Way back in my closet somewhere. So I'll check on that tonight.
I appreciate it. We'll see. I'm gonna
But man, if you can wait one more month, that's
that's
the
I'm,
best
I know,
thing
if
to
I can just
do.
make it to Black Friday.
Yeah. When do you do trivias? On
Tuesdays
Thursday?
and Wednesdays.
Oh, you do it tonight? What are you
Well,
gonna
I'm
do?
not doing it tonight because I'm off tonight.
Okay.
Because I'm going to the Michael Bublé concert. Come at me, dog.
With your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yay! That's fun.
But yeah, every week it's every Tuesday. Tuesday at Universal Joint, Wednesday at Hoppin.
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna come to one.
Yeah, come on.
And
Tuesday is like a Family Feud style trivia, so it's less like trivia where there's a right answer and more
Yeah.
like survey results say.
Gotcha.
And then Wednesday at Hoppin, which is usually packed. It's a lot of fun. It's a younger crowd. That's actual trivia.
What time is that?
7 o'clock on Tuesdays, 8 o'clock at Hoppin on Wednesdays.
Got it. Coming back.
10-4.
And now, The Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
What has been trending in the tweets? Rob Brown, I have to ask you, do you know where Lake Charles is?
Lake Charles, Louisiana, yeah. Yeah, I got family down that way.
Breaking news.
Oh, God.
Just got hit by a tornado.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's really bad out there right now.
no.
This happened about half an hour ago, maybe an hour ago.
Yeah, I've
So
got
thoughts and prayers with them.
Lake Charles, Louisiana is it's right by Sulphur, Louisiana. And it's over towards it's if you're in Baton Rouge, it's about halfway between Baton Rouge and Houston. So it's like right by the almost Louisiana-Texas line on the west side down towards the Gulf of Mexico. But
Right.
oh, no bueno.
Yeah, definitely contact your friends down there. Much lighter note, do you know the name DeMarco Jackson?
DeMarco Jackson. I don't off the top of my head, but are you going to make me look foolish by
No. It's a random name, but making the headlines on Twitter right now. They're showing the highlights of this App State linebacker against Coastal Carolina, but apparently NFL scouts were there. He is from upstate South Carolina, according to this source.
DeMarco Jackson.
Because Twitter never lies. So
I'm gonna have to look into. He's a stout fella, man.
and a fun game. For sure, that App State was able to upset that
Yeah.
undefeated team, get them out of the way, so
Big
they
one.
are no longer playoff bound. Do you know the name Mort Saul? Mort Saul. S-A-H-L.
I don't. Man, you are stumping me today.
That was a political satire comedian from way back in the day.
Yes,
Passed away Tuesday.
Okay. Funny enough, he actually on my Twitter today, somebody was clearly searching it, and I wondered why this tweet. So like 3 years ago, somebody put up a tweet that said, name your top 5 favorite comedians of all time. And I put up my list, which was at the time it was Robin Williams, Mitch Hedberg, George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Izzard, who I love Eddie Izzard. If you've never watched Eddie Izzard stuff, Eddie's a cross-dresser. He's a transvestite, and he makes that into his comedy. You know Eddie Izzard from a bunch of different movies he's been over the years. If you saw his face, you'd be like, oh, that guy. And then somebody, actually a guy from Deadspin a couple of years ago, wrote back and said, I love your list. The only one I replace is I would replace Eddie Izzard with Mort Saul, because without Mort Saul, there is no Eddie Izzard. And I looked up a bunch of his stuff at the time.
He was like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And the crazy part was when I looked him up, he was doing the set list improv, which was one of the hardest comedic things to do ever, in his 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, it just all the way to the very end.
You got to be wicked smart to be able to do improv stuff.
Yeah.
And I've watched some of his stuff over the past few years, and he's a satirist, right? Like he just rips on the ridiculousness of American life sometimes. Anyway, Mort Saul passing away today. That's going to do it. Thanks for coming in, Big Dog. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
That is DJ Drew on the ones and twos. My name is Rob Brown. We're out for the day. When we come back tomorrow, we make our picks on the show tomorrow. Plus, the great one, Lonzo, joins us from the compound to run us through Fight Club. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you around on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.
Picks is college football and NFL.
We'll do between. Appreciate you guys watching on the stream. We'll see you all tomorrow.